Good afternoon. Welcome to Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, BCC meeting in the Defuniak Springs Boardroom. I would like to ask our County Administrator, Brian Kellenberger, to give us his talk about not talking and then lead us into the invocation and the pledge.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate your attendance today. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. If you got any items that make noise, if you'll cut them off or put them on silent, we'd appreciate it, so as not to disrupt the room if they go off. If you would like to have a conversation with your neighbor during the meeting, we ask that you take it outside in the hallway so as not to disrupt the room. Good opportunity that there will be a difference of opinion in this room today. So I ask that everybody please respect your neighbors as we go through our meeting and people approach the podium for comments. We have a couple opportunities for public comment. The first one is if you can't stay for the whole meeting and would like to speak on one of the agenda items. And the last one is at the end of the meeting where you can speak on anything you'd like to. We just ask you to keep it to 3 minutes and remember the comment about respecting your neighbor. With that, let's have a good meeting, and if you'll join me for a invocation and pledge, I'd appreciate it. May the Lord be with you. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this opportunity once again to gather together to take on the business of the county. Please bestow upon this county commission the virtues of gratuity and humility as we go and consider these items before us, and help us to see and hear with the collective eyes and ears of all the people in this community as we make decisions on these items. And as always, help us treat everyone with patience and fairness and kindness. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The meeting is called to order. All commissioners are in attendance. And I would like to mention that I'm asking that we do not have substitute motions on this dais, that if you don't like a motion and you would like to offer an alternate that you want it amended, you can ask to have it amended, but I don't want to do substitute motions on this dais. We'd like to consider additions and deletions. And as far as deletions, I would like to remove number 15. Reason being is number 15 is involves Eastern Lake, the Eastern Lake parcel. And for one, I think that should be brought up at the south end, since it is on the south end. And for number two, I think that there's some people probably on the dais that aren't familiar with the area, and I think we need to have the opportunity to look and to see exactly where we're going with that. I think this kind of snuck up on some of us anyway, and so I'm hoping that we could be in agreement to just hold off on that one and bring it up possibly at the next South End meeting.
Do we need a motion?
Does anyone else have any additions or deletions?
Well, I have a question. Madam Chair, respectfully, what is the intent to stymie the parliamentary procedure process?
Well, we have, in our meeting procedures, we don't have anything that lists anything about a substitute motion, and we've never had that until recently, and it's very confusing, and we don't follow all parliamentary procedures, and, you know, that was evident last year when I would have been chair after being vice chair and was not. So we don't follow Robert's rules, and we kind of pick what we want. And so I just personally don't think that it's beneficial for this board to use that opportunity.
But do you have that kind of discretion?
Well, I am the chair, and it's not in our meeting procedure minutes. And if you would like to include it, then we could ask staff to bring back some new procedures.
Okay, so that begs the question, years ago, months ago, the board, I believe, the early onset of the year, or at when the chair changed transitions, we went through a procedure, or we went through the process by motion to establish a set of procedures. Is that not correct?
Yes, I have the meeting procedures with me, but there's nothing about a substitute motion in those.
To his point, yes, admin has been working on developing a full set of meeting procedures to bring back, which would include parliamentary discussions for the board. I believe it was after the chair was actually elected this past time, but yes, you did earlier this year in 2025 do that. And my understanding is that has been in the process and that admin should be bringing something back.
Okay, I just don't understand why we're circumventing the desire of the collective board. If someone offers an idea and another member wants to differentiate somewhat without substantively changing it, why is that being denied?
Well, you could ask that individual if they wanted to amend it, to amend their motion and go with that route. But I think it gets very convoluted when I see you having a question on your face, Commissioner Glidewell.
I was just going to say, as the party that was used against, I guess, the last time, I really don't see any problem with, I mean, if somebody wants to do it and they can get two more to vote with them, that's their business.
I think it was, I don't have a problem with it either. I was the one left solo in the boat after that particular incident. So apparently it's been used and like, we can't, that's a chair discretion. I just want to make sure that's, so the chair can make the rules at the board.
In the absence of a board policy adopting an official form of parliamentary procedure, the chair has, in this case, limited discretion of what motions to entertain. For instance, the chair cannot choose to entertain, say, well, I'm not going to entertain a motion to approve just because I'm not going to vote for it. Chair can't say that. But the chair can certainly recognize any one of the other four of you in whatever order the chair sees fit to determine who gets a motion or a priority issue. As far as I view the issue, it is definitively something that needs to be adopted in our procedures. I think I said this when Commissioner Drake brought this up before. I don't care which version of parliamentary rules you use. We need to have something that is in our rules. I take the position, I think probably of 95% of county attorneys. I highly disagree with adopting Robert's rules or new parliamentary or Rosenberg's rules as a manual, because then you have to follow every one of those to the T. And if you mess up inadvertently one time and nobody up here catches it, it can set all your decisions aside. That's why admin took it upon itself to work on developing meeting procedures consistent with this. In terms of the chair's ability to recognize or not recognize a motion, she does have broad authority under your existing rules to run the meeting in an orderly fashion. And I would say that regardless of which one of the five of you sitting up here is the chair. I will note the board has used substitute motions prior to the adoption of Robert's rules at one point in time. It was used very seldomly after the Robert's rules were done, and it had been used seldomly after the current version was done. But it is ultimately up to the chair to entertain a motion to amend or to otherwise attain any motion that would do that. And again, a substitute motion cannot change the primary purpose of the motion on the floor. It must be germane, and it cannot change the fundamental character or the subject of the original motion. But I will defer to ultimately the chair's authority in running the meeting in an orderly fashion. But I would say that that is one reason why we do need to codify these rules where everybody has the same playbook.
I don't disagree with we need some rules up here, but we don't need to make them up as we go along. Let's get these rules out here and
It's
so
my
we can
decision.
start by.
It's my decision.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I couldn't speak. I can't speak on it.
Well, you can. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I mean, if we're going to have a set of rules up here to follow, we have the citizens follow rules, we have departments follow rules, then we need to have a set of rules that we follow.
We have meeting procedures right here, and there's
I know,
nothing
but
listed in our procedures.
we go back and forth. Well, that one we do because it's Roberts. This one we do because it's Mr. Smith's. Whatever rules that we're using up here, we need to find a set and follow them. I mean, let's
That's
not
what
go
he's
back and
saying we're
forth.
doing. They're coming back with something that'll be more inclusive.
Can we get that done? Can we get that done in the next, by the next meeting?
Next meeting would be your November 24th meeting. Would you be willing to give us to your first meeting in December due to the truncated time frame on advertising and those issues?
Yes.
And because we're already sitting here one day later than what your meeting would typically be, and we're going to be one day early from where your meeting would normally be, so can we adopt that?
We established how many months ago that we were going to do it, and now we can get it done in,
Hey, Brian, if you think we can have it by the 24th, I see no reason why.
We can.
Okay, then we'll have it on the 24th.
Mr. Adkisson, I would ask for your opinion, but we could, if somebody wished to make a substitute motion, they could
Suspend
ask
the rules.
to suspend the rules. And, I mean, and 3 votes, they could do it. Is that not fair? A fair
They
statement?
could amend the motion.
But practically, what I would say is, if the issue arose during this board meeting where there was a desire to change the non-substantive intent of the motion on the floor, and the movant does not wish to amend the motion to accommodate that request, and 3 people are so willing to go a different direction, voting no on the primary motion and then making the new motion would accomplish the exact same thing in about half the time, if you want my opinion of how that would be carried out. But you'd take more time to suspend the rules than you would to do what I just described. But again, it's to the board's wish, because it's not in the rules is the issue. It's the chair's discretion. So you'd be suspending the chair's discretion at this point.
I just feel like the last time that we allowed that, and it happened a couple of times in the same meeting, that it seemed to stifle some commissioners from wanting to make any other motions because they felt that they were going to be, have to go through the substitute motion again, and it was very frustrating for everyone up here from everything I could tell. So that's just a reason. I'm not trying to be a bully. I just think that it's a smooth way to do it. If you want somebody to amend their motion, you ask them to amend it, and if they're willing to, fine. And if this is only going to be for one meeting, fine.
So to get us on track, you're asking us to take 15 off?
Yes.
we would,
Yes,
Basically, consider that a deletion?
yes. But I believe there's another one, Brian Kellenberger, isn't there
Yep,
another one?
there is. So we have item 19 we'd like to remove from the regular agenda completely. That
19.
Yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, that's under my tab. 19, it's a update, request for direction regarding section L. We've got that solved through the end of the year, and we'll take some time to work with
19.
number 19. So right now, we're asking for item number 15 and item number 19 to be removed from the agenda completely.
I'll make a
Under
motion,
deletions.
we approve the agenda with the,
I have an addition, if you don't mind, Commissioner.
oh, boy.
I need to request the board to authorize the chairman to sign an extension for a period not to exceed 30 days regarding the Bennett property. Underwriting has identified a legal description defect on one of the parcels included therein. I believe it would be appropriate to address the appraisals and admin's position on that once we know if we can actually obtain clear title to the property. As of right now, while we do believe it is a curable issue, it may require the county surveyor to become involved, given the legal description defect that we have identified. So that would be asking that to be added under the county attorney.
Okay.
Consent agenda?
No, it would be on the regular agenda.
Yeah, I don't believe we can add directly to the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda with the additions and deletions that have been named.
Second, and I do have a question about the consent. Since we're talking about rules and everything, what's the criteria to be on the consent agenda? Is it a dollar amount? Is it county administrator discretion? Is there a rule book? Is there rules that we follow?
The broadest issue of the consent agenda, your rules are very vague on that. The broadest way to view the consent agenda is that the consent agenda is for matters that have received ample time and discussion by the board previously, or otherwise ministerial acts of the board that do not commit the board to any firm direction or obligation to complete a specific project. So, for instance, if the board has talked about something that's not subject to a public hearing and told staff, hey, bring us this back, that can be on the consent agenda because you've already debated it, talked about it, and you're just formalizing the letter of support or the resolution. If it's, now you can't do it with an ordinance because it's a public hearing. In terms of issuing task orders under continuing contracts, assuming it falls under 287.055 to task an engineer to do something, that can be a consent agenda. If it is, we don't do a lot of change orders on there, but sometimes they can be if it was an expected issue that the county administrator feels that's the case. Budgeted items are the other example. So in other words, anything that you've actually voted on the substance of the issue before. We approve this in the budget, this is just approving it, that's where it ends up on there. But if you have a question on any of the specific items, certainly that's why every individual board member has unilateral discretion to take a consent agenda item off. There's no ability to avoid a consent agenda item being removed if you ask.
I mean, I see $450,000 on one item, I see $70,000 on the other that I don't think I've heard before. Maybe that's because I wasn't up on the board, but, I mean, some of these items I just don't think should be on the consent agenda item, but I didn't know if there was the gray area or there's a more descriptive criteria to be on the consent agenda.
Well, we're asking for the one that's 451 to be removed, but I don't disagree with you. And
And that is actually part of the procedures we've worked on, because I know admin has talked to the county attorney's office about clarifying consent agenda in part of your meeting procedure.
Can we add that to the process of figuring this out?
That's what I just said we've already done. Yes, sir. That'll be part of what we bring back.
Can I get it emailed to me and?
We'll have it circulated out to everybody so you have it before, and it's going to be on your 24th agenda. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But I mean, regardless, you have an avenue to take it off.
Yeah, right. But sometimes, it's easy on some of these because they put the dollar amount in there, but, sometimes these agendas are, a novel. So, I might miss something. I don't click into each one, or I just see the paragraph and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's all right. But then you click on it, you're like, oh, damn, it's $500,000. Why is that on the consent agenda item? Why didn't we have it on there so the people can see it when they first pull it up? That's all I'm asking for. If that's a hard ask, then that's fine.
I don't disagree with you.
No. And the Eastern Lake item is a piece of property we purchased several years ago, and there was been approvals in various budgets in the time we purchased it for this item or this effort to take place. We simply held on to it for a little bit of time, and now we're at that point where it's time to start the project. So if it was something that was brand new, we'd purchase property mid-year and not put anything in any budgets. It would come to you on regular agenda. If we just set a dollar amount, I'm fine with that. Anything over a certain dollar goes on regular.
I mean, I just didn't know if that was going to be a hard ask or not. So
No,
That's a one-sentence addition to what we've already done.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with, excuse me.
Through the agenda.
Excuse me, the agenda with the deletion of 15 and 19.
and add one under
And
legal.
one addition under legal. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Anything else?
We got
Missing
four
a
up here.
Commissioner? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay. Public comments. Is there anyone that has anything they'd like to talk about that's on the agenda that they may not be here when the agenda item comes up? Seeing none? Okay. Now we need the, anything removed from the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like 5, 12, and 17, please.
5, okay, 12, and 17. Okay. 5 is the first option to renew the contract with Ballard Partners for our federal lobbying services.
Yes, ma'am.
5, 12 is from Public Works requesting approval to proceed with the asbestos removal, handling, and disposal services for the old Thriftway building in an amount not to exceed $75,000. And what was your last one?
17.
17 is request to purchase the F-250 4x4 for beach operations not to exceed $64,400.
And that's changed to 69,400.
69, okay. Okay.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the deletion, or with the, those items pulled off.
Second.
Okay, and 15 has already been pulled off,
Yeah.
so, okay. Been deleted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Madam Chair, we'll move those under each department respectively.
Okay. And I believe we're at the citizens' request, and we're also going to move Commissioner Glidewell's item just after number 18. We're going to move Commissioner Glidewell's item, which would bring
31.
discussion of the Covington County CO2 pipeline, number 31. So number 18.
Correct. So we're going to do number 17 first, right? I'm sorry, citizen request. Okay. You ready? We're on item number 18, citizen request. Mr. Townsend?
Good afternoon, Chairwoman, Board. Thank you, Mr. Kellenberger. Commissioners, the city's talked about this for a few years, and so we finally have gotten around to it. I've been working with Ms. Thomason on this.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Kobe Townsend, City Manager at Defuniak Springs. And so bringing forth the interlocal agreement for the 1 cent sales tax that we do discretionary for sanitation. And I'll pause and let Ms. Thomason go if she wishes, and then I can jump in if needed.
Essentially, this is just a request to change the process of remitting those sales taxes to the county. Right now, as the city of Defuniak receives the distributions from the state, they remit all of that to the county. At the end of the year, we do a calculation to show what proportion of that is for landfill operations, and the remaining amount goes back to the city, which has in the past few years resulted in 1/3 of their original distribution being for the landfill operations, and 2/3 goes back to the city, leaving them with a cash shortfall all year of around $2 million. So the request now is not to change any of the proportion that we would be charging the landfill, only to allow them to retain 2/3 of that distribution each month, remit 1/3 to the county, and at the end of the year, true that up where you'll have a smaller balance due from the county or due from the city. And that's in a nutshell if you, if you want to go to any
So
more
it's not
detail.
any change in amounts of funds or anything like that, it's just in the timing that we receive it, or
Correct. It would allow the city to recoup a small additional piece. Right now, they get $850 per residential unit, and that's what's in the interlocal agreement with the county. It would allow that to kind of go up and let them recoup the whole $10 or so per residential unit that they're being charged. But other than that, no, it'd be a small difference to the county.
But we would, ultimately remove that section, because we would retain the full amount and cut the check to the county for 1/3 of the balance collected monthly from the DOR. And like I said, we talked about it's going to come out about even in the year, but we'll true that up. If we owe the county money, we'll pay that, and then vice versa.
Madam Chair.
yes.
Motion to approve the change.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the board? Any discussion in the audience? Anyone want to speak to this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
When
it.
we receive a copy from the county, we'll take it to the city council. We appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
And we'll be bringing back the actual interlocal agreement for the county to approve at a later date.
Wonderful. Thank you. You're
Mine.
your guy. Yep.
Yep.
Mr. Hammett,
Well, let me
excuse me, you want to go ahead and?
introduce him.
Okay.
The item is a discussion, and I got a motion at the end. In Covington County, there is a effort to put a CO2 storage unit or storage facility in Covington County. There is a lot of public consternation about that effort, both in Alabama and Florida. And today, we're honored to have Mr. Matthew Hammett, who is the state representative for the 92nd District of Alabama, which includes Covington County, and I'll turn it over to Representative Hammett.
Thank you, Chairman Glidewell. What's going on is there's a Class 6 CO2 carbon recovery and storage well has been applied for to go into southern Covenant County. It's estimated they're going to try to put in 500 million cubic tons of CO2 waste in the ground per year. It's not just a Covenant County problem. One of the sites is within 2 miles of the Paxton city limits. The same groundwater that is in Florella and Lockhart is the same groundwater that every city in the Florida Panhandle gets their water out of. If it's just a 1% chance something can happen, that's too much. I mean, it could affect millions of people. I filed a bill, pre-filed a bill for this next coming session. It's House Bill 64, which would be a constitutional amendment to Covington County to ban Class 5 and Class 6 CO2 disposal wells. We don't go into session in January. They've not got the permit yet from the EPA, and they also have to get the permit from the Alabama Oil and Gas Board before they could do the project. I'm asking you guys, because it's not just a Covington County problem, as I said, it could affect you in Walton County also. I'm asking you to write a letter opposing this to Governor Ivey, the Alabama Oil and Gas Board. I want to encourage you to talk to all your congressmen, your senators in Washington, to help my guys in Washington put a stop on them getting this permit, at least till we can get this in front of the people to vote on. I had Jeff Sarles, which is in Geneva County, next to Covington, still joins Walton, I think. He's probably going to do a similar bill like this to keep it moving east into Geneva County. So I just want to make you aware. I'm asking you to, let's be good neighbors and help us help you. And I'll try to answer any questions if you have some for me. And if you want to talk to me at a later date, Chairman Gladwell has all my contact information.
Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead.
So can you tell us how, sorry, go ahead.
We probably need a motion before we start.
Oh,
And I make a motion, we don't allow it. That we agree with
Opposed?
the representatives, send a letter to these
Well,
people.
we would send a letter to Governor Ivey
And the
and
oil and gas.
the Alabama.
Wherever else he wants us to send it.
So you made a motion, so we need a second.
Second.
1 second.
Did you second, Commissioner?
Yeah,
Caldwell?
I'll let-
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Okay, now go ahead.
So how far are they piping this stuff from? I mean,
Telling us it's 200 miles.
so they give you a reason why they don't keep it in their own backyard?
They say it's because of the geological formation. I know they tried to do one of these in Shelby County, Alabama. It was just a test hole. It wasn't going to be production of stored CO2. It was between Clanton, Alabama and Sylacauga, and there it was solid granite rock, and it would not absorb the CO2. And so
So the good idea is to ship it down south and.
I don't think it's a good idea, but that's what they're spending. I tell you, I don't see how if it wasn't for the federal credits, there's no way they do this project. I mean, the pipeline would be 36-inch stainless steel with nickel plate liner in it. A conservative cost estimate would be $700 a foot, and you're going to run it 200 miles. I mean, it's just a cash grab and a scam, in my opinion. But the threat's real to my county, and we're neighbors, and so I know lots more, but I mean, I don't see how they can feasibly do that. One thing, it would be harder on them. They do not have eminent domain about running the pipeline. If they're not a government entity or a power company, it's not deemed necessity. So I don't know how they would do that, get it there. But, we can't take a chance on that. We're taking the fight to them now.
I'm good with it.
Madam Chair,
Okay? Yes.
have you met with your U.S. congressmen and state senators and governor?
State Senator Josh Carnley and I did a joint press release this morning together opposing this in any which way means we had necessary to us to use. We have been in contact with Congressman Moore. I've not talked to Senator Tuberville or Britt at this time.
Any other comments from the board?
I just want to finish up. Well, I think it's very nice of you to come down here and alert us about this. The one thing we can't have is danger to our water system, especially with CO2 or CO5 or whatever the heck you're talking about. But I will personally talk to our state representative and state senator, and I'm not telling the board what to do, but I will personally talk to them.
Well, I thank you so much, Chairman Anderson.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought this forward for us so that
I've
we're
got
aware
a
of
second,
it.
I got a second part after we vote on the motion.
Okay.
About just that, but.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And we really appreciate you coming down.
Thank you for letting me come. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Representative Hammett? I just want to make sure that we're addressing this appropriately, adequately, and efficiently or effectively. Was there legislation that passed through the Alabama legislature that sped up this type of process?
2024, let me give you some background. In 2010, the EPA first authorized the use of Class 6 wells, injection wells for CO2 storage. 2023, the first Class 6 well was applied for in Alabama and Mobile County. When that happened, they realized there was no state oversight. It wouldn't have been, I mean, they could have still came and dug the well, but there was nobody in the ADM or Oil and Gas Board would have any oversight over the project. 2024, we passed the bill outlining everything, but it put the oversight on the Oil and Gas Board. That's what the bill was about. Now, a lot of people have spun it different ways, but that's what it did. We weren't allowing it, I mean, it wasn't opening the door for them to come. EPA did that in 2010 when they authorized the Class 6 wells.
Where I'm going with this, I mean, it looks like, I mean, you're going to have unanimous support from us here at this level. We're going to write a letter. But, I mean, the effectiveness of a letter is the effectiveness of a letter. My greater interest is that once we send these letters, you know, to whomever is the recipient of it and whatever they choose, or however they choose to respond, you know, we hope that they see things the way that we see it. But is there an appetite of the Alabama legislature to go back and modify some of the existing statute to make sure that we don't have something like this sneak up on somebody again?
I had the full support of Speaker Ledbetter's office on this House Bill 64, and we have had discussions about doing a statewide thing, legislation. The point is, we're trying to work in a hurry here, not say it's not important everywhere, just Covington County. We thought this was the quickest way with the low constitutional amendment to stop it. Now, we've got more talks, but Speaker Ledbetter is open to doing something about this. The state's not getting anything off of it. 50 cents a cubic ton going into a fund for the Oil and Gas Board, so when this thing's lifespan's over with, we're going to be stuck with it to monitor and make sure something doesn't happen. So it's not benefiting the state of Alabama, Covington County, surely not Walton County.
That's what I'm going to make sure is that, because we're certainly interested in this cause equally as you are. I just want to make sure that there's some teeth if there's an effort to stop that there's something there's a mechanism that really has some teeth to do that.
We go in session January 13th. We're trying to get this CA for Covington County because that's the only permit besides the one in Mobile was done in 23, and they still have not received a permit. So these things take time. But we're trying to stop it in Covington County as quick as we can, and I'm sure Speaker Ledbetter and I will talk about doing something statewide to stop it.
Who are the vested stakeholders that you would say would be on the opposition of or in support of what you're doing?
In support of what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I've talked to, Senator Carney's talked to Alabama Power and Power South. They're not interested in doing the CO2 recovery because it's not any benefit to them. I mean, they're not getting anything out of it. So some of the customers that these...
Who would be negatively affected?
Sir?
Who would be negatively affected?
If for killing this project? Reliant, then the group that's trying to do it is all. And Rainier owns the land.
They would be the beneficiary. Who would
be impacted negatively?
I mean, obviously the citizens, but are there collective groups like realtors, like the Alabama Realtor Association? Are they interested in this?
I've not talked to them, but you know, I would think if something like this comes in, property values surrounding next to that property would decrease in value. I just know we have a lot of public backlash, and everybody's worried about it, and so am I. Did not tell you this, but I dig water wells for a living. I hadn't always been a politician. I still don't consider myself one, but, you know, if there's, like I said, if there's 1% chance this could affect our groundwater, I mean, it's not just, it's bad for everybody.
Right.
The point is, it's not creating any jobs. I think they said maybe 10. The risk getting worth the gain, in my opinion.
Representative Hammond, how many signatures did you say was on the,
The signature I took to the oil and gas board, there was an online petition. There was over 1,500 signatures on it. I'm sure by now it's over 2,000 because I got it a week and a half ago.
Is there a public collective that is organized to fight this effort
Yes.
and support the constitutional amendment?
Yes, there'll be a meeting in Florilla at the Rodney James Center tomorrow night discussing this.
Okay, where and what time?
7 o'clock tomorrow night, the Rodney James Center there at the lake at Florilla. I'll be there as well as Senator Josh Carney.
Last question is, are you any related to Seth?
He's related to me, yes or no? He's my second cousin.
Okay.
His father started my company in 1951, so he coaches me up on some things. You know, he got a little experience in the legislature.
He's certainly one of the best that came through.
Yes, sir.
You got big shoes to fill.
I'm not going to try.
Mr. Atkinson.
And thank you.
wants to ask a question.
Yeah, Representative, I know we've asked this for us to go to the Alabama Oil and Gas Board. Would you also want us to include the Region 4 official for the U.S. EPA? Because I know Alabama's been going through the primacy process. Florida has not. It just so happens that both Florida and state of Alabama are both Region 4 for UIC control. So
Yes, sir.
if you'd like us to add that to it.
That'll be fine. And let me
I
say
would ask
this,
the
another
motion to be
problem.
amended to include the EPA representative.
I'll amend second.
Because Florida has not sought primacy over this. Alabama, what primacy means is the EPA can release control of Class 6 wells. They can release control of everything from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 to states. Right now, I think there are 9 in process of trying to get primacy for Class 6. Alabama is one of those. Florida is not. So with that being said, while it looks like that's what's coming, and that would strip this out of the EPA's control, while that's there and this affects our aquifer, and the federal act that enables this has a safe drinking water program component, we might as well send it to the guy who oversees both regions right now.
Sounds great. Everybody's in agreement with that?
Let me say this one more thing. Since 2010, there's not been but 8 of these, if I understand, Class 6 permits issued. The closest one to us, I think, is in Louisiana. They don't. I mean, it's just, we can't take that chance. I mean, it's not like this has been going on for 50 years and it's rock solid. This is not the oil field. I mean, this is unknowns. And I don't think we want this in our back door.
Is Alabama Power and Power South both publicly against it?
They've told us that in private. No, they didn't say, they said they were not going to be customers.
Is there anybody else out there, big names, that are public in their opposition?
Not that I know of.
But a lot probably will spill out tomorrow night at the meeting.
Come, it ought to be a good show.
I think Ms.
Okay.
Merrifield.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Krista Merrifield. I own Merrifield and Pilcher Realty here in Defuniak as well as in Covington County. And my reason for being here today is to thank you as our county commissioners and recognizing that this is fixing to be a very serious issue. It's not going to just be a serious issue for Covington County, but it's going to be a very serious issue for Walton County. They have not showed us where the well sites are going to be, but we have looked at them, and they very much connect to Walton County. And there is no data to go by. There's a little bit of data, but the data is not really very adamant. Digging into this carbon puts not only our citizens at danger, our elderly at danger, it puts our schools at danger, it puts our law enforcement at danger, and our emergency response people at danger. Walton County is not capable of not if these leak, it's going to be when they leak. Because Walton County will have to respond, because it will go into our area, not only into our water aquifer, but also into our citizens. So my question is if you will please also contact Florida Water. We really need Mr. Siegler on our side. We need anybody in Florida to help fight this in Covington County, because Governor DeSantis has been very adamant, not in my state. So not in our state, not in Covington County, and not to affect Walton County and our citizens. We have a hard enough time with our water as it is. We don't want this. So I just want to thank you for it being brought up, for you recognizing what's going on in Covington County, because it is very much going to affect Walton County. Please dig in. Please look at the research. There's tons everywhere. And there's really not enough research to understand, because it's not been enough. This is the largest project that they want to put in the United States of America. So they're wanting to put 44 sites in Covington County. That's insane. Thank you for asking some very hard questions. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate all of y'all. If you would please just stand up for us in Walton County, because it is going to affect us. It's going to be right on top of Paxton High School as well.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Very much.
Krista, just so you know, the Northwest Florida Water Management District and FDEP are very well informed.
Yes, thank you, Brett. I really appreciate y'all. I know y'all have been working behind the scenes before today, and I just wanted, my point here is to tell you thank you. I appreciate you. Please fight for us, because we're going to need it.
Thank you. Anyone else care to speak to this? Anyone else? No? I just want to say that between the questions that Commissioner Drake brought up and the support that he can provide as well, and that Mr. Atkinson can draft a very strong letter for the opposition for you, and anything else that we can do to help, just please let us know. So thank you for taking the time to come and bring that to our attention. And Mr. Glidewell, who was the young lady that wrote the letter?
Haley Bryan.
Haley Bryan is the one that wrote a nice letter about this that brought it all to light to us, I believe. And so thank her as well. So thank you. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
One last thing about this, and I think we can just do this with direction, but would the board entertain directing our federal lobbyist to do their part to stop this, including enlisting Representative Petronas and Representative Dunn? Is that okay with everyone?
I think that's a great idea.
I don't have a problem with it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Fantastic. Thank you.
That'll do me for now.
Okay. Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you again.
Killenberger.
Thank you again, Representative Hammett, for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad that we're now aware of this.
Okay. Madam Chair, we're going to step back and do item number 5. This is a request to approve and authorize the chair to sign the exercise of first option to renew contract number 23-21 with Ballard Partners, Inc. for our federal lobbying services. So we entered into a 2-year contract, and this will be the first, if you decide to do it, of 2 one-year renewal options.
Okay, I think Commissioner Kerr pulled this.
I just pulled that. After going to a few city meetings and all that stuff, I see presentations from the same firm, telling them what they're doing, where they're at. I'm just curious why we don't get that here. Why isn't this lobbyist firm either coming every quarter or whatever, saying, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we got you? I haven't seen anything on what we've got, what we haven't got, what they're working on, what projects, I don't know, unless you guys have seen something. I haven't seen anything.
No, I haven't seen anything since they received the contract at the beginning, at the onset.
Is there any way we could have them come before the
Yes.
board and give us updates?
Yes, we can. Yes, absolutely. We can
Do I have to
them
make
at the
that a
next
motion,
meeting.
or we can give
No,
that?
we
No,
can
no,
just
that's
do it.
general direction. We'll set it up.
Yes, Commissioner Anderson.
And as if I recall, I didn't vote for this firm.
I don't think they can hear you.
I said I didn't vote for this firm. And the reason I didn't vote for this firm was mainly because we went from being a medium, big, or big client in a small firm that worked really hard for us and informed us monthly practically to being a big fish in a big pond that, you know, we're the bottom feeder. They're more concerned with the bigger clients they have, and believe me, they have some big ones. And and I think it's a case of us being the small fish, and they really don't care if we get the reports we need or not. I'm still of the opinion of that. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're not, but they have bigger fish to fry. And we're minnows and they're whales.
To your point, I agree
I
almost
didn't vote for him either.
100% when we went to Washington. It was my first conference that we went to, and I felt like, you know, we were bothering them. You know, it just didn't feel right to me. But I was like, well, maybe this is the way it is. You know, if we're paying this kind of money, I just feel we ought to at least have some kind of update. I need to know what our money's being spent on or how much money we're going to get. Yeah, we need some kind of update. That's just my opinion.
Well, if we don't want to exercise the first option to renew the contract, we can go out for another RFQ or RFP.
RFP, yep.
I mean, I'll make that motion if you guys want.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to go out for a new RFP.
Well, let's have it to reject the extension and go out for it.
Let me offer up some advice, and you can take it or not. They're probably listening, they're probably watching this meeting and may, you know, feel a little bit uneasy. Why don't we let them know, you know, that we feel like we may want to have a little more attention and maybe give them an opportunity to adhere to some of the suggestions that Commissioner Curry had. And if they want to do that, take us up on it, great. We may end up in a good situation. If they don't, then they don't. But we're at that pivotal point where, you know, we've put them on the hot seat. They can respond or they can't. I think this is where we kind of have the tip of the spear in our advantage, and there's probably some good in that. Could we maybe reach out to them and ask them for a little more attention as Representative or Commissioner Curry had asked?
Would they still have the same opportunity to bid like anybody else on here and they could adjust their contract accordingly?
They would. So this
When is the
renewal,
deadline?
their first 2-year contract is over on November 16th. So we would be without a federal lobbyist firm under contract until we got a new one under contract.
Well, what have we gotten recently? I mean, what kind of difference does that make at this point?
I'm not arguing those. I'm just saying that, you know, you would do a new RFP with the understanding that you would be without federal lobbying services for a 3-month period.
And that means
not
we
sure
would be
we've had-
without during the time we go to
That
DC.
you said it more eloquently than I did, Commissioner Anderson. He said he's not sure that we've had it for the last 2 years.
I'm of the opinion that we hadn't been getting very much bang for our buck. And
I guess that's what I'm saying is here's our opportunity to turn the light on and let the cockroaches run. I mean, we can see it. They're on the hot seat. They can either respond, which usually, if you think about it, when you're in trouble, you usually respond and you're pretty effective at doing it. I think, you know, by having this conversation publicly, they're going to react. And then if we start over, then, you know, we have to start over.
The problem being that this expires the 16th of November. That's the only problem. And what's today, the 12th?
No, that's what I'm saying is we're at a prime opportunity to get, you know, to prod them with the
Right.
cattle stick.
well, the problem is, 2 years ago, I think Commissioner Anderson probably agree with me. They put the real shiny things in front of us.
They did.
And then after we gave them our contract, as Commissioner Anderson pointed out, we went from getting daily almost feedback, and we went from somebody who was really fighting for us to, I've never even heard from them. They've never even been to my office.
Once.
Not once.
I've gotten once.
I've gotten zero.
That was early on.
Been to my office either.
So, I mean, and we're paying them how much?
$8,000 a month.
So that's $96,000 a year. I think we could do better.
And they would have the same opportunity to look at their contract and submit it accordingly, you know? If they're listening to us, then they can.
Can we extend this contract for 2 months while we decide what we need to do?
That'd be a question for.
Got the contract up. I just wanted to say that and defer to Clay, it says this agreement may be terminated by the county with or without cause or with or without prior written notice. So that would sound like you could go ahead and renew the contract, and if you wanted to terminate it prior to the next renewal, you could do so.
Yeah, it's a one-year renewal, at which point you take it up, but if you want to terminate it at any given time between now and then, you give them written notice.
Okay.
That is your option. That's exactly, I was going back and looking at the bid document to make sure there wasn't anything inconsistent, but that is exactly how we structured this. And we've tried to move almost every one of your professional services contracts, including the engineers, to that exact same verbiage where this board retains the full right to hire and fire. I would say this: if you approve the renewal, to Commissioner Drake's point, I think it would be worthwhile for the board to direct, as part of that renewal, that they come and meet with all 5 commissioners and give a presentation to the board regarding the existing federal efforts and what the expected federal efforts are, and see if they do. If they don't come do that within a reasonable period of time that you set, then put it back on the agenda.
Well, see, that's what I got a problem with that, you know, we discovered a problem, we haven't heard from them, and now we're going to make them come. They're providing we're customers.
Okay.
They're providing a service.
But it will take us probably 2 months to hire a firm. And, I mean,
60 to 90 days.
So
maybe.
to
With the
Commissioner
holidays.
Drake's point, we can go ahead and leave this on and vote to continue it, give them an opportunity to do what we need them to do, and if they don't, then we can go ahead and terminate the contract. That way, we're not without during any period of time.
Can we still request RFPs? Can we still get some
Why don't we
feedback from
Well, I
others?
think that-
Or you can't?
do an
Can't do
RFP
it?
while we've got an active
I was just asking.
So I think you're,
The determination.
so you have a contract that's expiring in a few days. You have the ability to renew that contract if you'd like to, and that renewal has the original terms and conditions, which includes that termination. That would be your mechanism if you don't want to continue on with them. Or today, you just simply don't renew it, and you instruct us to go out for RFP. And it'll take about 3 months, maybe a little bit longer, considering the holidays.
We should say something that not one single person on this board has heard from this company about where they're at, what they're doing for us, and what we're getting for our money. So, I mean, just like Commissioner Anderson said, I don't think we've had it for 2 years. I know I ain't had it for the last year and whatever I've been here, a year and 2 months, year and a month. So, I mean, what's the difference? Yeah, so what's the difference? I mean, okay, we'll go 2 months without a lobbyist. Well, we went 2 years without one, so what's the difference? I'm going to keep my motion the way it is.
What is your motion? Would you repeat it?
The RFP. Send that out, or not renew, and send it out for RFP.
And there was
Would
there a
you,
second?
would you be amenable to just maybe taking a slight minute to reach out to your congressman and, you know, gauge their opinion? Because at the end of the day, look, I lived in this space and somewhat still do. I understand what's involved. I understand how it works. I understand the whys, the wheres, the howevers. I know that at the end of the day, like when we hire a lobbyist, what we're hiring someone, whether it's at the state level or it's at the federal level, they're kind of an extension. They're an additional hand that is working in the process, the governmental process, whether it's state or whether it's federal. But at the end of the day, the people that are actually going to be doing the lifting is going to be Congressman Petronis and Congressman Dunn, and then whoever it is that's in the White House administration. So for us, a lot of our leverage, or what's attractive for us, is that if we have executive agency, whether it's the EPA or the U.S. Federal Wildlife or the whatever, we have to have someone that our congressman is going to work with at that federal agency, you know, to kind of satisfy what it is that we're trying to accomplish. That's why I'm just saying that it's, I mean, it's your prerogative, but it's a drastic move. And honestly, I always thought it was respectful whenever I was sitting in that seat in Tallahassee, local governments that were, you know, dealing with lobbyists. I wanted to know, you know, who it was that I'm comfortable working with. And let's say we go out for RFP and we choose somebody that Congress Petronis doesn't like, or Congressman Dunn doesn't work well with, then we've shot ourselves in the foot.
Well, I've reached out to Petronis to include Zoom meetings or Teams meetings on 4 or 5 items that I would assume my lobbyists would be working on, but I haven't heard anything of that fact. So I have reached out to Mike, and not one of them said, hey, did you go through your lobbyists? Have you asked your lobbyists?
Well, no.
They helped me in that Zoom call.
That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't do that. I would take offense to that if somebody called me and they're like, they acted like the lobbyist was doing all the work. No. The elected official is doing the work. The lobbyist is the day in, day out, the hands-on, the 365 out of the year mouthpiece that's there, that's interacting with them on a daily basis. That's their role, is to stay in front of those people. At the end of the day, the congressman's going to do what the congressman's going to do. The White House is going to do what the White House is going to do. For us to even pay that kind of money, is we have to have the ability to get in front of the congressman and have them see things favorably.
Well, that's why I reached out, because we talk about different levels of bureaucracy and the time it takes to get stuff done. I'm tired of sitting back waiting for a lot of this crap to get done. I just made the phone call and said, hey, can I have a Zoom meeting? Can I have this on anything that I want? I send the emails out. I don't get anything back on water quality. I send 23 emails out. I hate depending on other people that I know is just bureaucracy. It's very, very frustrating. So when this came up, I'm like, well, I haven't heard from them since I've been here. I just found out right now the contract is $96,000 for the year. So what did we get for $96,000? Can anybody on this board tell me what we got for $96,000 this year? I see no hands. Prove my point.
I don't think we got much.
What if they, well, is Scott Brandon here?
There he comes.
There he is. Hi, Scott.
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Strait, yes. The discussion, I understand, this is our new lobbyist. We've traditionally for the past 15 or 20 years before that had a different federal lobbyist. This is our first renewal. I disagree with Commissioner Curry that there's not been a lot of hands-on time here in the county with their team. I think that's probably needed as a result, to speak on what Commissioner Drake's saying, as a result of what you're saying today, of having that happen. I know we do have the NACO trip is coming up, where we usually do our delegation meetings. Currently, we have beach restoration as the top of our federal list. As that moves forward and that project starts to progress, I anticipate that the federal lobbyists will become more involved in that process as it goes forward. The other thing would be the ongoing water quality study with the P River that Melinda's worked on. That's something that Congressman Dunn's office has been instrumental in helping us with. Other than that, on our priority list this year, we're looking at opportunities as we advance the Agriculture Center with the state, of looking at possible funding opportunities for the construction of the Ag Center. All of those which is on your federal priorities list. But I would anticipate as beach renourishment being the number one issue as it progresses, and in the current situation it's at, that they would be more hands-on with aiding us with that. I also remind you that this contract covers the TDC's lobbying efforts as well, so that encompasses the beach renourishment as well.
You keep bringing up the beach renourishment, and since the governor signed that bill, I have not seen one survey flag in the sand. Yourself and a few others have said that they'll get me an appointment with the Army Corps of Engineers to see where we're at with the survey. Have not gotten that. So, I mean, if we're going to come to the podium and try and be a salesman for this entity, then we need something that, in substantial form to sell me. You sent me some what-ifs and some opinions. You didn't give me any substance. The beach renourishment, we're going to talk about this for the next 10, 15 years. I hope we don't, but it looks like we're going to. All right, there's nothing happening there, and wait, you don't have to tell me. There's nothing happening here. It's very frustrating that we put this up on a pedestal, and I think it's political posturing, and we're not doing anything about it. So I'll just stop with that. And then you talked about the EPA or water. I found out at a meeting that and we're going to talk about it later today about water quality. There's a lot of water quality issues in this county. Commissioner Glidewell has some with a dump site. I have some over by the old Coyote landfill. I mean, what have we got? I don't know what we've gotten for $96,000. What have we gotten?
Commissioner, I understand your concerns. I'm not up here I'm not waving the post for any of the firm or not. I understand the discussion you're having, just saying that it would be, I think, well needed to Commissioner Drake's concern, to have them come and give you some time and answer some of those concerns, specifically on the beach renourishment issue. And I do understand your frustration with the Army Corps of Engineers and the survey process. I don't think it's that we've not been able to get a meeting set up. That process and where we're at with beach renourishment, I know Mr. Kellenberger has been involved with that. I know it's not a great answer. It's moving as fast as it can go under my understanding of it right now. If there's anything we can do to supplement it. But your frustration is understood, Commissioner. I understand.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
I got an email from the Corps a week or so ago saying they would start this November and be through with the surveying by spring. That's what they sent me. Did you get that too?
I didn't get it, but
I get it.
So, well, I can print y'all off a copy and get it to you.
We could certainly, if we need to do an update for the beach renourishment project specifically, we can.
That would be
certainly get
good. That would be good at the south end, at the next meeting.
Okay.
if you can.
So you got information that you don't have?
We sent an email. What did you get, Commissioner Anderson?
It said they were starting, I think, this month, and we're going to be through with it. There would be boats out in the water,
Right.
people on the land.
So why didn't we get that?
I'm not.
I wouldn't be up here on my pedestal right now.
I'm not sure. I know that the current condition of where we're at is waiting on that survey to commence, and that's what he's reflected. To answer your question, I do not know what the time frame is for its completion, but it's hurry up and wait, and I know that's not a good answer.
I think we're a little bit off topic, though. We're
I'll withdraw my second. I just don't want, I want to give them a chance, let them know that we're watching, but also, if they don't answer us or through Scott or Brian, and by the 1st of January, and get us some information about when they will update us on everything, then I'm going to make the motion if Mr. Curry doesn't make it.
I'll compromise and go with that. But I want to see something. Are they going to call us? Are they going to get with us? Are we going to send a message?
That's what I asked to be made part of the motion. And so if you amend your motion to include that, it would be to grant the renewal with the condition that by January 1, they contact all 5 commissioners, as well as County Administrator and Mr. Brannon, to provide the board an update on its current efforts and what their plans are.
And what they've done this past year.
Correct. That's when I say current efforts, that's what
I
I mean.
withdraw it, and I'll make that.
Okay, so that's your motion, and you're seconding that motion. Any other comments from the board? Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Any comments? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is more addressing Commissioner Curry's original motion, but it applies to this one. Is this a production problem, or is this an information sharing problem? Because what we just heard was it's an information sharing problem. You know, you got one commissioner, and part of this problem is you don't have you don't have a lead dog on the beach nourishment. I guess the Corps thinks that Commissioner Anderson is, but it should be either Mr. Kellenberger or your TDC director or tourism director or the chair, but it ought to be somebody that shares all that information. You have an information sharing problem. Yes, beach nourishment is important. The most important thing that's going to come up in the next 12 months is, as you probably have read, they're talking about now drilling for oil off our shores.
We've got that on the.
And that ought to be, even above beach nourishment, your number one issue for that lobbying firm. And in Commissioner Drake's, I kind of agree with him. Ballard Partners is the most influential lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. They may not be telling you what they're doing, and that maybe it's a push-pull thing. Maybe we haven't asked or we haven't directed them to do us, update you quarterly, but they are the most influential firm up there. You've got the right firm, particularly to fight offshore oil drilling and to help you with the beach nourishment. Maybe you need to improve the lines of communication, or maybe Scott needs to improve his lines of communication with them. I don't know. That's not my issue to solve. But Ballard Partners, I would give them a chance. I think you've got the right motion. You've ended up in the right place for the right reasons, because they will help you, as Commissioner Drake can attest to. They are influential in that city, and they will help you get what you need to get. You just need to make sure it's achievable objectives. Beach nourishment's achievable. Stopping the offshore oil drilling is achievable. All this other stuff, I don't know what you have them doing on the water quality issue, but it may not be achievable because it may not be at their level or at the EPA's level yet. Thank you.
Mr. Bagg?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Mr. Bagg?
I'm sorry.
Don't ask me why they picked me, because I have no idea.
I can't hear you, sir.
I don't know why the the Corps sent it to me. I didn't ask for it. I would assume that they had sent it to Brian and the rest of the commissioners.
You're on that list because you were the chair.
When it started.
Right.
Yeah.
You're on their distribution list.
Yeah, and I think they ought to send it to everybody, and I will get a copy out to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak to this? Barbara?
While she's coming up, I would just say, I've heard that Ballard is very influential, but to Commissioner Anderson's point, I think we're a small fish in a big pond, and small fish get eaten.
Yes, ma'am.
Barbara Morano, I'm just going to mention that we do have a position. We saw him in person. It's a Director of Governmental Relationships. Let's use him too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second to continue with Ballard Firm and see what we can bring forward with them.
specific directions, too.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, number 19 was deleted. Item number 20 is request to approve and authorize the chair to sign the Walton County Housing Confirmation of Entity Letter. This is a mechanism we use to establish our county housing department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next item is by code compliance. Mr. Corderman.
Are you back on, 12? Did you
Yeah,
do
which one?
12?
We'll do it under Public Works, so I put them under their respective departments.
Okay.
They may go out of numerical order, but they'll be in the,
So where's 17 going?
17 will go right after Public Works because there is not a beach operations regular item tab.
Okay.
21.
Okay. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. Tony Cornman, Code Compliance Director. As you probably recall, about 3 months ago in August, there was some discussion about code fines and where we were at in the process of trying to collect some of those. At that meeting, we were directed, actually legal, and I was directed to come up with a ordinance or a resolution to bring back to you, and for me as the code director to report to you quarterly on where we're at on fines and fees and all that sort of thing. It's been about 3 months, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the figures, and also we have on the agenda the resolution that we worked with legal on. It basically is the same thing that Defuniak Springs has. They already had one, so there was no need in reinventing the wheel, with a few minor exceptions. So that's the resolution. What I want to do is update you on the fines and fees. We have collected a little bit, so there is a few different numbers. For fines or cases that are in compliance, so these are cases that we have gained compliance, but they still owe some fines and fees. That figure is a total of $930,751. Out of that, $900,540 is non-homesteaded, and $30,211 is homesteaded, and that's important because, of course, you can't have a foreclosure process on homesteaded property. For cases that are accruing fines, so they had a code violation, the magistrate assessed fines, they were in violation, they're still in violation, they have not gained compliance. Some of these are really old, but the fines and fees for that is a total of $10,383,503, with $6,839,189.25 for non-homesteaded properties, and about $3,544,313.75 for homesteaded properties. And just so you know, that fee goes up $16,850 every day. That's what the assessed fines are daily. So with all of them that's going on, it's over $16,000 every day it goes up. What I wanted to do while I'm giving you this information is just kind of let you know our street code compliance division has handled through 11/12 today so far. This year we've handled 844 complaints. Out of that, 612 of them, or 73%, has been in District 4 and District 5, with only 27%, or 232, being in Districts 1, 2, and 3. So I just letting you know where the complaints are. We started tracking this year so that we can report to you that information, to give you a little bit more information. So that's where we're at. If I can answer any questions, I'd be glad to.
I'd like to pass out something that I'm suggesting that we look at. Would you please see, make sure that the clerk gets one as well. We've got to come up with a way to kind of fix this. We go back so many years, and I think that what's happened is a lot of people don't even realize that the fees are still adding up and adding up and adding up over the years. So some people will be shocked to find out what their fees are. So I just thought that this is an option, and it certainly can be altered in any way, but an option for the code fines, all violations that are in compliance, if they're already in compliance, give them until the 31st of January of 2026 and let them pay 10% of what they owe and be done with it, and just wipe it off, 10% and be done. Those are the ones in compliance. All with current violations, if they will bring it into compliance by January 31st of 2026, then they can pay 10% and be done with it. But those that remain out of compliance, for non-homestead, begin the foreclosure. And for homestead, file the lien. And that's my suggestion, and it's open for discussion. Anybody have any comments?
I've got a comment for Mr. Atkinson. If we do this, won't we have to have public hearings and things like that before we change this?
They can't hear you.
If we do this, won't we have to have public hearings and things before we change it or not?
When you're saying do this, are you referring to what's on the agenda or what's being presented by
What's being presented by?
Commissioner Johns? We would need it in the form of a resolution, so you're at least, it won't be a full public hearing, but you would at least need to have it brought back as part of the resolution format, yes.
That's all.
My question is, do you agree with what I'm putting out there, or do you have any alternate ideas?
I like the direction you're going, but I feel like you're getting off. If you just factor in the cost of doing business as 10%, then, people are just going to rip and roar, and then they know that for 10%, they can just get out of it.
Well, I think that would be a cap, and that from this point forward, I think it's responsibility for us to notify people on a regular basis to let them know, because some of these people don't realize that their fines are being accumulated. And so.
And I would just like to add, everyone that has a code case is notified by certified mail whenever their fines are imposed and those liens are attached. They are notified by certified mail.
But do they get follow-up notifications, or is it a one-time?
Yeah, we don't continue, just keep sending it.
They get it one time, and then
Well, they get a couple notifications of where they know the hearing, and then after the hearing, the order imposing fines.
I mean, once you're told you're doing wrong, you're supposed to fix it. You're not supposed to be the person that's going to do wrong and then like, well, let's wait and see if they call me back again.
Well, what
let's
has
see if they'll
happened-
call me back again.
What's happened in some instances is, for instance, you're supposed to have it done by March, you're being in compliance by March, let's say, and you didn't come into compliance until May, but you came into compliance in May, so you thought you were good, but instead you're still accumulating fees added on to the initial fee because that wasn't paid.
Well, and as long as we can show that they're in compliance on that date, we would adjust those fines to be for that.
And I would note under this resolution, that would be under the county administrator's authority
Right.
on anything over 3 months old before foreclosure is to negotiate those settlements.
And it's in the resolution that's before them today.
That's what I'm saying, yes,
Yeah,
it would be,
yeah.
you don't have that authority now, but you would be granting that.
Yes.
When I first brought this up, how many millions did we lose over the 20-year mark?
I don't have that figure. I mean, it's a few, because
Several million.
for instance, we have one piece of property here that owes us $888,450, so it don't take long for a few of those properties that's been on the books that long to
I'm thinking it was somewhere around a 24, and then you chime back. I don't know where we about 14. So I'm just guessing 10 million that we lost out on, or whatever the case may be. I've had several conversations with you, and I think the persona was, what's an obtainable goal? Do I think that we're going to collect $15 million? Probably not in my lifetime. But what can be attainable? I don't mind these options. I think they're low. I don't want to applaud folks for going against the law by zapping away 90% of their fines. But again, I do agree that there needs to be some obtainable goal. And I don't know what that number is. I don't know if we're going to, maybe this needs to be brought up at the next meeting to discuss what that percentage is. I do like this, because I have talked to Tony and Michael about this several times. But that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and you don't want to reward folks that don't pay their fines. I
think if we do something like what the chair had brought up, we need to make sure that everybody understands it's a one-time deal, because if we don't.
And if you don't pay by that date, then all bets are off. It goes back to your original $800 and something thousand that if you, yeah.
But is 10 cents on the dollar?
I don't know what that number is. That's why I'm saying I don't.
But what the problem is like I was explaining, is that sometimes if you just have, if you come in compliance within 60 days, but you didn't pay that amount that you were supposed to pay, you're still accumulating fines. So those fines grow from, say they were, $800, and then however often that you do that, and you have it for years, you're accumulating fines just because you didn't pay that initial $800.
Well, once they come into compliance, they're instructed by the magistrate to contact code compliance for an inspection. Now, if they didn't do that, as soon as they come into compliance, they're supposed to notify us so we can go inspect it, file the affidavit of compliance, which stops all the liens or all the fines that day.
So there should not be a scenario where someone got an inspection and the fines kept accruing.
Right.
It's entirely possible
right.
they never got their inspection.
Right.
Right.
But at that point, I don't know that we know when they did come into compliance.
Right. Like I said, they're supposed to contact us for an inspection once they come into compliance, because typically the way it happens, we go to the magistrate finds them in violation, gives them 30 days to come into compliance. And then they're instructed to notify code compliance when they come in compliance so that we can go out and do an inspection. If it's before that, the deadline date, we file an affidavit of compliance, they're done, no fines. If it's after that date, that deadline date, it could say 10 days after, we file an affidavit of compliance, and it shows that they were in violation for those 10 days. We file an order imposing fines, send it back to the magistrate, and he decides whether to put those fines there.
I'd like to ask Commissioner Drake, is there a number, other than 100%, we would all like, everything to be 100%. Is there a number that you possibly would think of that would be comparable? 50%, 40%, 60%? Is there something that you would have in mind?
If I could interject, and Commissioner Guy, certainly if you have a number, I'd certainly want to hear it. I do want to comment about the practical implication of the resolution, because we have dealt with this in Defuniak Springs quite a bit. The amount that you're going to reduce each property is going to vary property to property. In Defuniak, that authority is vested with the city manager. This resolution will vest it with the county administrator. The concept behind that is not to let that person play favorites, because ultimately you're going to see that outcome somewhere. But the reason why is, and I'll just give you the three biggest issues. There are three classes of these. Somebody that has come into compliance. They come in, they show you, hey, we are in compliance, we didn't call for an inspection, or I bought the property, there was a code lien on it, I went in and closed on it, I didn't pay it off, but I brought it into compliance, I thought that solved, I didn't know better, I wasn't the original person.
Those are the good actors.
Those are the good actors.
There's very few of those.
You would be surprised when you're dealing with properties that have 5, 10 years on them and you've changed hands, you own an estate. It's a lot of people who just honestly are ignorant of the process or unaware. And so those people come in and there's an opportunity to help them, but there's also an opportunity to recover your administrative costs. That varies. Your next group's the person who's trying to sell the property.
Who does that arbitration now?
Nobody. The county doesn't have a process for this. Right now, your only option is to go forward under Florida statute after 90 days and file foreclosure on every single one of these.
So someone current, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
My brain doesn't, my synaptics don't fire as good as yours do. But it is, right now, somebody, let's say little old lady, property Seagrove Beach, been there since the 1950s. Something like this happens, she doesn't realize it, and then finally somebody makes her aware of it, and she's accumulated like $50,000 worth of fines, and the original debt owed was $2,500. Okay, that's obvious what happened, but there's nobody that can arbitrate that with her right now. If somebody came to the county, if the little old lady pulls up in her, little old car and
You would have to send them to the magistrate to make additional findings, release it to the board, and then the board would have to determine to release the lien.
But Mr. Kellenberger doesn't have the authority
Absolutely
to go.
not.
I understand.
No, the resolution grants him that authority. Now, in your case, I want to go to the second one, which I would say probably is 80% of these. Somebody's finally gotten it together and they're selling their property. Maybe there's a code violation, maybe there's not. Just set that aside for a second. That code lien is on there, somebody wants clear title, and they absolutely want it cleaned up. Well, what we have here is, we're not going to release that lien. You're selling your property. Let's say they're selling their property for $500,000 and they got $50,000 worth of fines. Well, no, there's very little likelihood that we're going to want to release that for 10 cents on the dollar or even 90 cents on the dollar. They're about to make $500,000 and they never cleaned it up. And oh, by the way, the violation stays in effect.
That's why I was talking about the 10% being a cost of doing business.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to factor that in.
Right. So what I would say is at that point, you wouldn't cut that deal because this resolution contains language that is very clear that the determinations of settlements, the lien releases, cannot inure to the benefit of someone in the sense of they can't make more money off this than you do. So if it's a situation where they're going to make $500,000 and the county's only getting 10,000 and we're giving up 50,000, that wouldn't happen. We say, no, we can't do that. And so you've given some guidance to Brian about how far he can negotiate. But I would very much encourage the board that setting a one-size-fits-all doesn't work because the third class that I can tell you I probably deal with, if not on a weekly basis, definitely a monthly basis in the Funiac, dealing with the blight remediation issues, cleanup of the historic district. I know Code's talked to those guys quite a bit. The people who come in and say, I want to clean my property up or I want to buy this property and clean it up and it's not there yet, here's the cost it's going to take to get it in compliance. Here's legitimately the cost to bulldoze this structure. Here's the cost to do this. Well, if they're honestly going to come clean up a really disastrous code situation, they're going to pull up a pipe that's dumping stormwater into a creek that shouldn't be there and they want to get into compliance, you may well abate that whole fine if it's going to cost them $80,000 to make those repairs and they're committing to do it and you're fined $60,000. Do we need the 60 or do we want the fine cured? And that's a policy question you have to answer up here at this board level, but code is about voluntary compliance. And so what I would say is, while a lot more of them are that middle class that you talked about, Commissioner Drake, that last group is the group that's somewhere between the good faith and the bad faith actors. Yeah, they're probably wanting to play let's make a deal, but that's where you get your code compliance. And so that's why I would discourage the board from at the outset setting a fixed number. Give your county administrator a chance. You trust the guy. He knows what he's doing. He has code guys to talk to. Give him a chance to play let's make a deal for a little bit. And I will tell you right now, I have had to revisit parts of this process with the City of Funiac since we adopted it originally several times, but we've never had to revisit the manager's authority to play let's make a deal in those scenarios because the manager's always been shrewd enough to never step across that line.
Well, I like where the chair's going with this, but I do like having that safety net to where somebody can arbitrate this disagreement.
And if you want an amnesty program, by the way, which when I read what the chair had, my first thought was this is a forgiveness program, an amnesty program. We can build that in. Whereas if you want, we will accept payment of code liens between this date and January 1st or whatever it is of each calendar year.
I mean, that gets things moving.
Yeah, you can light that up. I would tell you right now, I think you probably
let me ask
want to
you
push
this.
it past January 31 just because of advertisement at this point.
What do hospitals get when they write off a debt and they sell it to one of these collectors? Do they get 50%? Do they 30%?
I'll tell you, it wholly depends.
But the industry standard, you would say.
It's going to depend on if the person had insurance, what the nature of the proceeding was. Most debt collectors, I will tell you, pay anywhere from 5 to 35 cents per dollar. And that's across not just medical debt, that's all kinds. And, the high end, I mean, some people get better than that. There are some very high end exclusive debt collection services, but you see a nickel on a dollar for some that are very unlikely to be collected because that's how much you're getting paid up front to turn the debt over. On the other hand, it varies. I would say 10 cents is on the low side of something that attaches to property because this is a lien. While it is not a super lien, it's not a lien that trumps everything else. It's a lien that's not going to go away. And then the other side of it is, even if it's extinguished in a foreclosure proceeding, and let's be clear, that can happen. Our lien can be extinguished as part of that foreclosure proceeding. If the violation's not being cured, we can go right back out there and slap the bank with a notice and make the bank clean it up and start the process over again on them. So having gone through that a few times, I can tell you, banks, we got you, right up until you serve them the notice, and now they got to send a property manager out there to fix it. And the bank's going to get it fixed because they're not going to risk losing it because they don't have a priority lien anymore. So I would just say 10 cents on the dollar is probably low as a general rule. That's why not setting a general rule is the better option. But if you wanted to set an amnesty program for a set period of time, like
I would put something out there as a general rule, to kind of scare them off. Because if you don't have anything, we're going to still be doing the same thing that we're doing now.
Well, you just have him making that call, and they know they can't profit more from it, and they have to clean the property up. So it's not as though it's a nothing where they don't ever do anything. This resolution says we're going to move forward with foreclosure, and this is your way of getting out of the foreclosure process. Give us a deed in lieu, clean it up, and we'll talk about a fine reduction is what is being embodied. But if you want to set a hard number, we will gladly do so.
But just because there's so much to clean up, we're talking about, you're going back 20 years on some of this stuff, and that's just so much to clean it up. And then moving forward, it's different. I mean, we stay on top of it moving forward.
I would say let's pass the resolution and give Mr. Kellenberger a chance to clean it up, and then we can revisit it. But I think the plan is good, but I think we need to give Mr. Kellenberger a chance to get as much cleaned up as he can, and then we'll go to the plan but give him a chance and maybe a couple months under the resolution to fix it.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Well, as the proposer of this idea, how do you feel about that?
Well, I really like the idea of going in there and getting it cleaned up right now and starting fresh and using the resolution for the starting fresh portion of it. But as long as we're moving forward, and if you feel that it's best to let him do some work for a month or two to figure this out, he can incorporate this in there if if we want to at a later time. I'm okay with that.
I'm asking if you're putting something out there for legislative action, there's an expectation that it's going to accomplish the goal. So if this is watering down your desire to accomplish a goal, we're spinning our wheels, and I'm trying to help you.
It is, thank you, I appreciate that. It is watering it down. And
I have an
I would
idea.
like to.
That would get you exactly what you're asking for. Okay. Commissioner Gladwell, if you'd be so kind as to amend your motion to adopt the resolution, but to direct the county administrator to not commence any of the foreclosure process thereunder, and to bring back to the board an amnesty program that would address the outstanding backlog of code fines to be implemented at the outset before this ordinance kicks into effect. We would then be able to do just what we're describing. And it's basically accomplishing what you're asking for, but it's putting the resolution on the books. And let's say we'll have something back in 30 days or at your first meeting in December of what an amnesty program would look like. And then y'all can decide how long it runs.
I'll do that.
And I'll amend the second, and we would also have maybe a little bit of data, maybe small data on any fines that have been collected since.
That way we don't water down your idea and we're not forcing people into it, but he can then legally say, I can start foreclosure right now when he sends these notices out. And what I'm thinking is, rather than us going to pay a bunch of filing fees to file a bunch of foreclosures, you're going to send out a bunch of letters and notices to accomplish what you're saying on the front end and see how much we clean up. But every new case that comes in starting is going to be under this new process. So if you'll give us that, we'll hold off on that until the board has handled the amnesty program. That is the best of both worlds. I mean, I don't see any other way you're going to do the two of them at the same time without splitting that line.
We'll have to change, of course, the date, of course, because if we're not coming back for another month, we have to give.
Probably end of February. I actually think that's probably a benefit to everybody just because of the holidays.
I'm okay with that. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Commissioner Drake? No. Okay.
No, it's your proposal, so if you're good, then it sounds like everybody's good.
Just want to get get it rocking and rolling, get it done, get it cleaned up, and start fresh. So, okay, motion and a second. Any comments from the audience? Barbara?
Barbara Morano. Normally, I don't handle these kinds of code complaints, or have done one myself, but I have been involved with a friend's situation. And just to give you an example, from May until this moment, there are $34,000 worth of fines on the person that my friend called on a code complaint. So it adds up very quickly. And I remember, and I'm glad you're going for an amnesty, because I remember, I believe it was Commissioner Curry before you were a commissioner, you helped out someone who had a lot of code complaints. You actually went to the home and actually dug this man out. So there are people that are truly in that state. But there are also people who put a pole barn up in South Walton without a permit, who will go to the ZBA and not get their variance, and still have $34,000 worth of fines. But the people that are affected by this, which I have found out, is not only the people who do the code violation, it's the people who call it in. And when the people call it in, it's amazing how much abuse they get from the person that is code violated. So the longer this takes, it's harder on the person who called the code in. I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't walk this with my friend.
What is happening to these people that call it in that are being retaliated against?
What happens to them was, specifically, he's calling the sheriff, he's getting death threats, and someday he's going to come up to this podium to explain.
Who's getting the death?
Excuse me?
Who's making these threats?
The man he called the code violation on.
That needs to be turned over to law enforcement.
He did, and he did. But law enforcement was not effective. But he can tell you about that someday. But I also want to know eventually, and I think this ordinance is a great walking, because we don't know how many liens we have at this moment. We don't know how many foreclosures we have, because we never did it. But you mentioned that people that are homesteaded cannot be foreclosed. And that's a lot of numbers as well. And so in this particular case, the person is homesteaded, and he's not paying $34,000 worth of fines, and he certainly can afford it, which is what Commissioner Drake's saying, because he's continuing to build this pole barn out. So I can't wait till you get started. And I guess my question to code is, when is he going to start with the letter to put a lien on this property? How?
Liens are on properties, upon violation.
The liens are already on them.
Every dollar he's talking about has a lien attached.
Okay, so every property has a lien. Unfortunately, they can't foreclose it, and there's nothing to motivate this person to pay his fine. It's kind of a hole in a way, too, and I hope we can fill that.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
I appreciate that. I hope we can just,
Well, and keep in mind that once a property comes into compliance and we file an affidavit of compliance, they can go back before the magistrate and ask for a fine reduction. And it happens all the time. We had code hearings this morning, and there were some on there asking for fine reductions. So they can actually do that and get their fine reduced that way, so.
thank you. Any other comments? Anyone else in the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. You've got direction.
Madam Chair, can we take a break?
10-minute Okay, we are back in order. We are at number 22 on the agenda, and that would be Public Works.
Madam Chair, let's step back and do number 12, please.
Well, I thought that was going to go under Public Works.
Go ahead, Sis.
It is, but we can either do it or 22 first, whichever one you like.
We can do, they also have 17, don't they?
I have 17, and so I was going to do that after theirs, but Buddy, come on up.
Yeah. Scott's going to handle 12.
Okay.
So we're on item number 12.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Scott Caraway, Public Works. This request is approval to proceed with the asbestos removal and handling and disposal services for the old Thriftway building in an amount not to exceed $75,000. In July of '25, the board directed us to demolish that building down to the slab. An asbestos survey was performed. There were some materials that contained asbestos. We have to get a licensed asbestos contractor to remove it. So that's what this request is about. One thing I would like to add is if you approve this request, if you could also authorize me or Mr. Kellenberger to sign any notice of commencement forms for DEP or the building department associated with this demolition, that would be helpful.
Okay.
I pulled it off. I just wanted, and I don't have a problem with this particular fee for the asbestos and all that, but I just wanted to know the end goal on this. What are we going to do with this, area when it's done? Are we going to put a facility on there for X or Y, or is it going to be a parking lot? I mean, because we know we don't have money to put anything on it right now. So what is our end goal with this area?
I think the direction of that meeting was to demolish the building, and then the county would be performing a needs analysis and overall master planning of this complex or this area. I don't think that's been determined yet. I think that's something that our administration is going to be
Right. Commissioner, the end goal, we purchased the property recognizing we would need more property around this in the future. The short-term goal is after we realized we were not going to repurpose that building was to go ahead and tear it down and use it for a parking lot.
Okay. And in the future, it would be more governmental buildings or whatever. It'd come back to the board.
It will be, yeah. So y'all gave me opportunity to do a land assessment programming for what would be considered a government center around the courthouse.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Madam Chair? I think what we talked about too is the supervisor of election needs a place.
Yes, absolutely. They do need a place, a facility.
Have we made any headway on getting the city to abandon that alley?
I've had discussions with Kobe Townsend, and it looks like it's favorable.
We should have hit him up while he was.
Yeah.
we have something else we're hitting them up with. So,
Motion to approve.
Do you want to? Did you add something to it? Do you want?
The commencement, notice of commencement.
yeah, just to
Allow him to, allow Mr. Caraway to sign the papers.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments from the board, other additional comments? Anything from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And that
Commissioners.
does include your notice of commitment.
great.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Buddy Wright, Walton County Public Works. The next agenda item is number 22, and that is a request to approve the 2025 County Maintained Road Index. As you know, we try to bring this yearly. We're a couple months behind this time. But anyway, you have all the additions, deletions, and corrections in there. Cindy done a very good job of giving you explanations. If something's added, deleted, or correction, there's an explanation in here for it. I want to commend Cindy Price and Bob Newsom. They worked very hard on this. So just if y'all got any questions, we'll certainly entertain them.
It's a lot of work.
So last year we paved 13 and a half miles. That's outstanding.
So we're going to do 26 this year since you got another stabilization crew, right?
Give it a shot.
Double the crew, double the work, huh?
We keep doing that, in about 20 years, we won't have any, we'll be paved up.
Do we need?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board? Any from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
can I apologize for something real quick? I did, on the beach renourishment Army Corps email, I did get the same email that Commissioner Anderson received. It was a long email, no excuses. I didn't scroll all the way down and look at all of it, so I do apologize. I did receive the Army Corps email via Melinda Gates, so I apologize.
And I will echo that, but it was from Melinda Gates.
Yes,
not
it
Army
was.
Corps.
Mine was,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Mine was from Melinda also.
So we all got it? Okay.
Okay.
You want to hit number?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to step back and do number 17, and that'll clear up all the items we removed off the consent. 17 is request to approve the purchase of a F-250 4x4 for beach operations in amount not to exceed $69,400. This will be a truck for our new director. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we were asked to pare down our annual trucks or equipment purchases. This truck will be purchased with surplus funds from this year's purchase. So,
I just have more of a-
purposes for the new director.
I just have more of a question more than a denial or acceptance of this. I guess my first one would, well, let me do this, the second one first. Are you still currently in the beach operations truck that you had when you were down there?
I'm actually driving my personal truck right now because we're at a deficit of trucks.
Okay, so what happened to the vehicle that you had, or you've always had your personal vehicle?
No, so as a director, you're assigned a truck because it's considered a on-call job.
Where did that truck go?
So like I said, we've been at a deficit for a few years running. When we hired the new deputy director, one of the new trucks that came in was assigned to him. And then I took a truck temporarily, but I had to give it back because it had to go to the landscape guy. So
Because your predecessor had a vehicle, so I don't know why you're using your personal if we have one up here, correct?
yeah, I just prefer a Ford truck, and call me weird, but so I don't mind driving my personal truck right now until we can get me a new one.
Like I said, these are just questions. And then the other one would be, since this is TDC funds and a TDC piece of equipment, did this go through the TDC prior to coming to us, or that's not the protocol? We can sidestep the TDC?
So it was money that was in a budget for vehicles. We just happened this year to do a pretty good purchase on vehicles. We'd put some extra money in there, recognizing that tariffs might be an issue this year. They did not come into play, so we had a little bit of extra money in there.
Because, I mean, my last question, I promise. This says funding per Devon will come from the 2025 budget's unused funds. So do we have a number on the unused funds out there? 'Cause I'm just curious if how much is in that coffer of the.
I don't have the exact amount. I'm sure Melissa's probably looking for it right now.
Yeah,
but,
she is.
I'm
But,
looking, but this system has been slow today.
yeah. So normally what we do is at the during budget formation, we put together our equipment list for that budget year, and we put in what I call round numbers because we don't know what exactly those numbers are going to be. We buy off state contracts. Those contracts come out. We usually use the sheriff's, which goes into effect in November. The other state contract comes into effect in December or January. So we also put all of our accessories on these. So, a brand new F-250, 50 grand, the accessories we put on a little bit extra.
I mean, my thing was if it came down to a deficit, like you said, I only use mine at the office, and I know it's not a F-250 with all the bells and whistles, but I mean, I only use a vehicle whenever I go out of county. So, I mean, if it would save $70,000 so we can put it in the budget for next year, I'd be glad to give up my vehicle. It's assigned to the office.
We got a new director coming in. He's expected to make it happen 7 days a week. I think we ought to give him the opportunity to get there if we call him it after hours.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just for curiosity, why do we need an F-250? Why can't a F-150 four-wheel drive suffice? Those are cheaper.
Because oftentimes directors' trucks are used to pull stuff. We have a whole host of equipment down there, that different size trailers, different size of a piece of equipment go into it. And if a normal person or a normal worker can't get to it, exempt employees are expected to get to work. So there's an opportunity to be pulling equipment with that, whatever it may be. Trailers with something on it, trailers with material in it, or whatever.
Commissioner, to answer your question, in that one account for beach ops, machinery and equipment, there was $126,597 remaining last year.
And we just rolled that over.
We would roll the amount that he's asking for into the current year.
Okay. I mean, Commissioner Gladwell brought up kind of a point I'm going to piggyback on. Is there a reason why we don't go after used vehicles?
Used vehicles?
I bought a 1-year-old vehicle for $40,000. It has all the bells and whistles in it. I mean, yeah, I know I'm paying for it, but it's 40, not 70.
We've always purchased new vehicles off state contract, and we have depending on what those vehicles are used for in beach ops, they have a rotation period. Obviously, an admin vehicle lasts longer than a beach vehicle. I think we get usually 6 or 7 years of an admin vehicle before we put it up for auction or gift it to another department.
The auction that we had, how many vehicles were sold in that auction that came from the beach operations? Do we know?
I'd have to go back and look at the list.
I'm just trying to justify the purchase.
I wouldn't want one.
Well, I just want to justify, if we got rid of 10, then I would say, yes, you're absolutely right, there's a deficit. But if we got rid of 0 beach operations vehicles, then I'd say, well,
No, we got, I don't know exactly how many, but every year we typically roll out 3 or 4. So we use beach vehicles about 3 years before they're ready to go to surplus. Otherwise, we start having a lot of problems out of them. The other thing is, like, say, our beach vehicles may have 30,000 miles or 40,000 miles on the odometer, but they spent their entire life going 5 miles an hour down the beach. Our mechanic tells us that typically that'd be equivalent to about 300,000 miles. So, we have a program, there's a couple of things that dictate, why a vehicle stays or goes. The first one is was it its service life? Obviously, beach trucks have less service life than an admin vehicle. The other reason is as many years ago, we determined that as the destination marketing, destination maintenance, and our vehicles are in the front line, we want them to always look good and be in the best shape. So we tend to rotate them out sooner than we would some other vehicles.
But getting back to the difference in a 250 and a 150, that 150 is going to get better gas mileage.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is going to be a take-home for the beach ops director,
yep,
he lives up here. So
he does.
It's going to increase the fuel budget.
Mm-hmm. I can look at an F-150. I think the last time we priced them, for whatever reason, F-150s were either at the same price or a little more, and I think it's because of their popularity. But
Okay.
Are we better off leasing one rather than purchasing one?
I wouldn't think so. I don't know if we're going to get somebody to lease us when we tell them that we're high potential, we're going to use it on a beach on the Gulf of America.
We've looked at leasing. We get vendors periodically that want to schedule meetings to talk about leasing vehicles, and so far it just has not penciled out when you look at what we can get from an auction.
I'd at least like to see the comparison between an F-150 and the F-250 on price-wise with packages and all that, to be honest with you, before we make a decision.
Including gas.
Yeah, including gas mileage.
And I don't have the breakdown of what all it entailed, but TDC machinery and equipment in the auction, they brought in $77,610 this year.
Okay. Thank you for looking that up. I seen you over there working away on it.
So what are you wanting to do?
Can we just give direction to come back at the next meeting, since it's going to be in the south end anyway? And then you can let some bed tax collectors or chime in if they'd like to. Just at least look at the comparisons of the 150 to 250.
Is that the desire of the board?
I guess, unless we, unless we know ahead of time, his normal payload's going to be over however many pounds it is on a regular basis. We buy an F-150 and it burns out on us.
Should be able to have all those comparisons side by side when you buy a vehicle. It'll say payload capacity, it'll say all that.
We have all that. What we don't know is how often will it be put into use for that? I think that's the question you're asking. I mean, we can tell, what a truck will tote. We just don't know how often that truck will be toting it.
I'd just like to see the options. I mean, if that's the board's.
Did you say this came out of vehicle funds, general, not TDC funds? TDC.
But money that was set aside for vehicles
Okay.
and equipment.
Okay, so you want to have him check and find out?
Yeah, just come back to
between
the next
an
meeting.
F-150 and an F-250, I guess, right?
Okay, so F-150 versus F-250, lease
After-
versus purchase?
Including fuel. Now, are we strictly Ford people here? Is that what it is? We don't look at Chevy, we don't look at.
We look at all.
We have a specific contract with Ford. We don't look.
Well, no, we purchase off state contract.
Okay.
What we found through our years of research and development is the Fords tend to hold up better. I know this is probably going to start an argument, but they do.
Can we get you to do a commercial for Ford?
I've offered to do research and development for them, and for free.
Okay. So
I want
you're
some
gonna
money
come
for the
back-
county out of it.
You're going to come back with that information at the next meeting, the 24th
Yes, ma'am, I
of November?
am.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you. Melissa?
Okay.
Commissioners, our next item is a request to advertise and hold a public hearing on November 24th at 1 p.m. in South Walton Courthouse Annex for the fiscal year 26 carry forward of recreation plat fees and tourism department capital projects. We will bring you on your agenda at the next meeting the comprehensive list of all the roll forwards of encumbrances, projects, and grants. But in addition to those, we have a few that will need a public hearing in order to put those in the budget at the beginning of the year. Those are the Gulfview Heights Pavilion renovation, Miramar Beach parking facility, and Eastern Lake Beach access, as well as the balance of recreation plat fees. This public hearing would be to line these up in the budget and is in no way indication that we're moving full steam ahead with any of these projects. It lines them up in the budget and they will still come before you as the projects progress. It just keeps us where we have our projects budgeted that match our 5-year capital improvements plan. So that is the request, is to hold that public hearing at the next meeting.
Motion to advertise a public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Melissa. And Blake?
I'll take my add-on first, Madam Chair. We have under contract for $12 million, approximately 600 acres, referred to as the Bennett property south of Funiac Springs. In working with title and underwriting, a error in one of the legal descriptions was identified. While we believe it is curable, we do want to make sure the underwriting has enough time to review that, get us that information, and the county surveyor is able to agree to that. As the contract would be due to close this week, what we'd request is the board to approve an extension not due exceed 30 days so that we can clear title and bring back the entire packet for the board. You are not approving closing. You'll still have to do that in the future. But this is an extension for 30 days. The owner may say they're not interested.
Motion to extend 30 days.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to extend 30 days for the Bennett property contract. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 24 is I'm hereby advising the board pursuant to 286.011 sub 8 of Florida statute that I desire the board's advice concerning litigation strategy and the type of expenses to be incurred in a Rock Interest LLC versus Walton County Circuit Court case filed here in Walton County, Florida, 2025 CA 411, and would like approval to schedule and advertise a special meeting for an executive session in that matter.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 25 is similar, but by way of brief explanation, the board had previously discussed, this is the conservation easement the University of Florida came and discussed as a program for us. The board provided direction to that meeting for us to develop a resolution consistent with what had been done elsewhere. After additional review of the documents provided and a review of the way this has been structured elsewhere, because there are certain funding commitments that may ultimately become part of this, and because this program would have continuing and ongoing presence, a resolution may well be something you do, but you need an ordinance first. We can't do an ordinance without a public hearing. So what I'm requesting is to advertise and schedule a public hearing for adoption on the conservation easement program, and I will go ahead and advise the board that due to the turnaround times of the advertising with the holiday weeks, this will be your first meeting in December, which will be here in Defuniak. I think that was the intent, but there's no way to have it ready given the longer week we're on and the shorter week we'll be turning around to on the 24th.
Motion to approve and advertise.
Second.
And what time frame are we looking at?
The first meeting in December is when we'll have the ordinance back, yes. I just can't I'm ready right now, but I cannot meet the state statutory advertising deadline with the newspaper because this meeting's one day later than it would typically have been, and our next one is 2 days earlier than it would have been.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board?
Is that December the 9th?
That's,
Is it the 9th or the 4th?
should be the 9th.
Okay. The 9th.
I'm showing 12/9 as the board's Defuniak board meeting at 1 p.m. in Defuniak.
Okay. All right, any comments from the audience? Yes, Barbara. And Barbara, this is just about setting the public hearing.
Oh, just setting the date?
Uh-huh.
But there is going to be the public meeting and the discussion of the ordinance, correct?
That is the public hearing, yes.
And the discussion, I think I was just going to say, when we discuss the ordinance, I'm sure Joe Johnson would be able to explain more about this program, and we just need a lot more information, not just an ordinance. I mean, it's just.
That's what the public hearing's for. We're going to go through all that in detail.
Good.
But the board's direction to me, Ms. Morano, was to prepare a resolution. After reviewing what other counties have done, the resolution by itself would have accomplished nothing. So that's why I'm asking for us to have the full formal public hearing that an ordinance requires.
Okay. And I just want to add, Martin County in Florida has done this before. So if you're definitely interested in giving yourself a heads up before next December meeting, I think you would gain some information. And I think Joe mentioned Montana also has
They're one of 5 counties we've looked at that has done some form of this.
one of 5. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
One of the 5. There may be more than that, but that's one of the 5 we've looked at.
Maybe you can share the other 4?
I do not have them sitting in front of me right now. I know Alachua was the primary one that they looked at because of where the Alachua Trust is that is set up that.
Lake County.
They have one, that's not the template we're working off of. And I'd have to pull back up. I believe Citrus was the other one we primarily looked at. They have a version of this. Marion has one, you're right. I don't recall all 5. We've looked at a lot. So I could probably find more versions of these. I thought this was going to be a very straightforward thing.
Right.
But we're also looked at several that unfortunately we're trying to stay away from ones that have been involved in some unfortunate litigation about the conservation easements. Several of the South Florida counties have been in litigation with the Audubon Society and otherwise on these. So we're trying to stay with the ones that have not had court challenges.
Well,
and that's not very often, unfortunately. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Curry, I believe you are up.
Oh, we didn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize for that. We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Now you're up. Curry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Most of mine here on this Parks update is actually just Parks update. I do have a couple requests when I get to them, just for the public because they've asked about. I get some phone calls on the parks in District 1, so I want to kind of just give a rundown. I think I do have a couple folks here that can help me out if I say the wrong thing in parks, but. Villa Tasso, just to let you know, the playground equipment was purchased and it is installed, and I've gotten several emails thanking us and the guys who installed it. So that's good. The old Choctaw Fire Station, I'm not sure, is Chance here by any chance? Can you just shake your head if I say something wrong or right on this? The only thing that we are kind of waiting on is the permits for the pier, correct? Yep, okay. And that could be 3 weeks or 3 months, right? And you're going to come up anyway, yes. All right.
Is that the one that we were just going to clean up the faulty wiring?
We demo, I put $50,000 over there off of rec plat fees to see how much they could do for me for the building. Now, we still have the pier and all that as a separate item that's going.
Reno update.
Renovation?
Renovation, Reno, sorry.
I thought somebody was going to Reno to gambling.
It's part of my agenda I was going to pass earlier on the consent agenda. But yeah, on the pier and all that, where are we at with?
Had a pre-application meeting with DEP Pensacola office on the permitting of that, but we still got some details to work out on the design to get that actual. It's a certification that we're going to have to do. Technically, you do not have to permit a dock if it's less than 1,000 square feet with the state, but you don't get federal approval if you do that. So we will do a self-certification with the state, and that automatically allows us to get, I guess, compliance with the federal regulations. I don't know exactly how long that will take, but that is Army Corps of Engineers.
As long as we're moving in that direction.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm kind of copying off of Legion Park. We're going to put some bench swings along the outskirts to look out at the bay, just like Legion Parks has. I really like that. We're going to keep the intent or the design aspect as a fire station colors. I have received books from when, back I think it was the early 70s, that fire station was constructed. So I have pictures of people actually building the old fire station and some of the old fire equipment that we will decorate and design on the inside of that. So, and that's why I asked about the volunteer aspect, because some folks in the area want to come and volunteer and do landscaping or bushes or do some of that. So, kind of the community has a role in this particular community center park. So that's all I had there. You might want to wait for the next one too. The Choctaw Beach, the next one is the Choctaw Beach Wayside Park, however you want to call it, with the guardrail. So are we with, where are we at with the guardrail?
I believe we brought the construction agreement to the board on the 14th of October. We received the signed copy of that from the chairman on the 21st of October. We sent that to DOT on the 21st of October. We called DOT on the 28th of October just to make sure they had received it. They had received it, and their legal is reviewing it. As soon as they send that back to us, we'll have authorization to build the guardrail. And then we will reach out to our IDIQ contract for guardrail and have them put it on the list for construction. And until we make that request to the guardrail contractor, I don't know exactly what the schedule will be for the installation. But as of right now, we do not have authorization from DOT to build it.
Okay, all right. But again, we're working in that direction, and
Yeah,
it is ongoing. I think that's it for you, sir. I might need Buddy up here and Scott maybe on the next few. The Portland boat ramp. Yeah, you can go ahead, Chance. I don't think I need you anymore.
Thank you.
Portland boat ramp. I went out there after a couple phone calls, and there seems to be. If you want to look, you want to scroll down. This area right here is pretty dangerous. If you're walking around out there, I mean, that's nothing but rocks. A lot of those boards are rotted and loose. So I wanted to request as a motion, if I could, use some of the boat ramp funds, registration funds to improve this area. If we could come back with a price to replace some of this safety issues out there. And I don't know if that would be Buddy, if you would do that for me, or do I need to get with Parks?
Oh, it's Brad.
Brad's not here, is he?
Yes, he is.
Is he? Hey, Brad, come on. So, hey, you don't have to come up. If I just got to get with you to get me a price to fix that, okay? Is that okay? Direction-wise?
Yeah, that's fine. Does anyone else have any issue with that? No?
Okay. because I don't have a price on that, so I really can't make a motion if I don't have a price.
So Brad, you'll do that, correct? Thank you.
Okay.
Talking to Brad Alfred, by the way.
Yes. Let's see here. The Portland Community Center, it still has $39,000 allocated to that center, and I don't have pictures of that, sorry guys. That needs probably some more work than that, but I've like I said, this is an update, but I've gotten with Brad. He's going to kind of give me the what for on how much that $39,000 is going to do, and if I need more and what all that. So I'll bring that back at a later date. But I know that money's been sitting there for a little while, and I assume that it's going to need more because it looks like the only thing holding that place together is the 10 layers of paint. So I would really like to see something done with that. So the next one would be 4 Mile Creek. We have, and this is a Buddy and Scott, we have a bid. If you want to come up here, Buddy, and explain the bid because it was a little confusing to me, or Scott, on 4 Mile, and we can use the boat registration funds on this one. Somebody, it appears, has hit the left side of this. You can probably scroll up and see a little more of it. Yeah, that picture right there, you can see. So if we're going to do the one side, the other side is not in great shape. So they went out and got a bid, and the lowest bid was, and take it away, Scott.
So we had the contractors meet us on site and get us a couple quotes for it. The main quote was to repair the one that was damaged. And then we got an alternate quote for the other side as well. And we're going to replace the pressure treated lumber with hard composite decking. The lowest quote, about $36,000, $35,907, I believe, somewhere around there.
And I would like to make that a motion, if I could, using the boat registration funds.
Second.
You've got a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board about that? You're wanting to use how much?
Registration.
The boat
30,
funds for about
whatever. I
approximately
think the quote's on
35?
there. I think it's just under 40,000, I think.
Just under 40,000.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number. It's on that.
Yeah,
agenda.
it's on here.
Just say 40.
Any comments from the
All
audience?
right, let's just say 40,000 then.
Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Now, if you could scroll to Pitts Bay Shore, yeah, a little bit right there. All right. So I had Mr. Alfred come by, and we talked about this lovely area a few times. As fast as they pick up all this stuff, the folks around there put it right back down. If you can scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the door path. Come on, a little bit more. There's some plywood and a little more. There's our doors. That's how we get to the water. I think the safety aspect of this is horrible.
Where is that?
And it's Pitts Bay Shore. It's in Black Creek area.
Okay.
Turn off of Jolly Bay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. So I asked Brad, hey, what could we do money-wise to, let's replace the skids and the doors and make a dock out there and all this stuff. And he's thinking somewhere around $50,000. So I would like to, and that's going to come out of the rec plat fees, since there is no boat ramp there, obviously. So I would like to at least put $50,000 of rec plat fees into getting rid of our door dock and our skid path.
And you're taking that from number 8, the 4 Mile Park? Fund?
No, I'm going to go ahead and just take that out of my rec plat fees. So I'll go to that one next. I have some rec plat fees that could cover this right now, so I'd rather go ahead and use that money towards that.
Okay.
And a motion.
Yes, sir.
That's a second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, so now we are on there's your quote for your other one. That's probably all the pictures I have, other than the Grady Brown. So I do want to bring up, last year about this time, I believe, there was $100,000 put at, I don't know what, we don't really have a name on it because we don't own it, but there's a parcel next to the old Orr House off of 83A East. Yeah. And we don't own it. And Brian, what's the, can you give me a little backlight on where we're at with?
It's land owned by the Bureau of Land Management that we were asked if we would like it, if we would improve it. And so we have not developed a plan to improve it, so it's not changed hands. Typically, they'll lease it to us for a period of time and then convey it to us by patent deed.
So right now, we have $100,000 parked there, and we don't own it, and we don't have a plan.
Yes.
There was a plan at one time.
So there,
We go back to that plan.
so there is a conceptual plan.
Somebody wanted a boat ramp or a boat launch or something, but there was a plan for a fishing pier and a parking lot. So why don't we just go back to it?
So that those were all conceptual in nature, and they didn't take into consideration, the lay of the land, meaning wetlands, flood zones, what can be built, how close can it be built, and all that. We can certainly go back and revisit it if y'all would like to do that.
But I think the first intentions on what people were thinking isn't going to come to fruition. I think it's too wet over there for any kind of boat ramp or. So, I mean, I just don't like when I have Pitts Bay View with doors over there, where I could use that money now. And then if we actually get this land, and I'll put money there as we actually become owners of it, or we have a plan in place. I just, leaving $100,000 sitting over there, and I'm scraping 2 nickels together to fix these other parks.
The other parks.
Well, that's what I want to do. But
What's stopping you?
I guess last year I was hand slapped, so I'm trying it again this year.
New year.
So, I mean, I hope I get 3. So, and I would be glad to put money back into this park once we have an actual plan put together and we actually get some, ownership.
So what is your motion? You want to take the 100,000 and use it where?
Well, I want to put it back in the rec plat fees to use at other parks in District 1.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second? We have a second.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Did was the $100,000 coming out of the budget or rec plat?
Rec plat.
That piece. So we have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board?
One more.
One.
It was originally put in there as rec plat fees, right?
Yes, correct. Anyone from the audience want to speak to this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. My last one is Grady Brown. I just want to try and get an update where we're at. I have a few folks that are wearing me out on this. And I just went by there the other day and, just kind of wanted to give a heads up. Thank you, guys.
Please state your name.
Cody Miner, Risk and Safety Manager.
I'm sorry, Cody Meyer, what did you?
Miner, M-I-N-E-R.
Okay.
Anyway, so the contract's been awarded this week. The contractor, I believe, submitted the application for permits yesterday. So once it gets permitted, they should get started. I think they've got the materials ready and everything. So they're estimating about 60 days of work to be done. So completion towards the end of January, February.
So you would, and I'm not going to hold you to it, but we should see something happening within the next 30 days construction-wise?
I hope so, yeah.
Okay.
I expect to.
All right.
Any other questions?
That's it. I just wanted an update, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it?
That's it? No, I got some other items, but parks-wise, that's it. I mean, just to add, Aliqual Boat Ramp, the Public Works did put some millings down and kind of leveled that off. It would be too extensive of a project for a small piece of land to put, any kind of drainage type fixes in there with ponds and all that. So they're doing the best they can with what they got over there. So just to give that update. Let's see here. Eagle Springs, is Mr. Shane here? While he's coming up, we did have a meeting about where we're at with the golf course and where we're at with the bar and grill and all that good stuff. And collectively, I'll just let you say it. We have an idea on kind of fine tuning because we're probably going to be within $125,000 of breaking even on the golf course side by the end of this year. So we just want to fine tune it to get as close as we can to sustainability on that side, and then you can go into the bar and grill aspect too, if you wouldn't mind, Shane.
Yes, sir. Shane Supple, Parks and Recreation. That's correct. We're extremely close on the golf course with reaching full sustainability. It's just a fraction of the money what we're going to be down this year, not very much at all. What we are looking at, Mr. Kellenberger, Commissioner Curry, myself, met and Melissa, and we talked about raising the daily fees very, very slightly, just 5%. Not touching the membership fees at all, nothing like that. But like like right now during the week, it's 45 and 52, and we're talking about bumping it to 48 and 55. And the weekend would be the same thing. And that little bit of extra income would help get closer to that goal, because we did about 38,000 rounds this past budget year. About 15,000 of those rounds are not what you classify as membership. So when you buy a membership, you pay a monthly dues, and you pay a cart fee when you play golf. If you just come off the street, you just pay your daily rate, what we call it. So that's what we're proposing. We did redo hole number 11 this past year in-house. Saved a lot of money doing it. Commissioner Curry's seen it. Commissioner Anderson's seen it. It's really something to see. It's beautiful, and we feel like it's well worth another $3 to play a hole like that.
I've heard about it, and they say it is fabulous.
It's really beautiful. So I wish I'd have thought I'd sent a picture so we could have pulled it up on the screen, but I didn't think about that. Sorry.
Next time.
Next time. On the bar and grill, we did meet and went over the numbers, and through attrition and some other things, our expenses are coming way down on that side. To be fully transparent, our expenses now, what we calculate is around $42,000 a month. Right now, our average revenue is around the $34,000 to $35,000 a month mark. So we're getting closer and closer. And with the plan that Justin has come up with, and myself, and a collective plan, we feel like we're going to put the beverage cart out on the golf course every single day. We're going to do more to meet the customer. If you come out there and play golf in the future, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to get food and drink over and over and over again. We feel like with that, plus we condensed the menu, our cost of goods should come down slightly. So we can take that 42 and get it down, and take that 35 and get it up. We're going to be extremely close, we feel, in the next, as a matter of fact, very soon, of breaking even on the food and beverage. And if that doesn't work, we have some other steps to take.
You did decide not to get the FTE that was already budgeted.
Right, we have 6.5 FTEs budgeted for the restaurant, but we're at 5.5 now, and we're going to stay put right there until we can see a change in those numbers. Okay. We think we can make it happen. We found some other things too, as far as who can run the beverage cart and who can accept tips and stuff like that. That's really going to help us to be able to get more people out to where the customers actually are.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We have a very good staff. We live in a great area. We're blessed to have that piece of property to work with. It's beautiful, but we're trying. Thank you.
So I think we would just need the motion on the $3 daily, the daily upcharge. No memberships are being changed or nothing. It's just the daily play.
So
correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct. Frankie has been working on the resolution for that, and that she should have that fully done by the first meeting in December.
Okay.
So we'll have it.
We don't need anything. Yeah, we don't need anything.
But we're giving you a precursor. It's coming, and it'll just be formality then. So.
That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, while you're up there, how's the maintenance building going? Where are we at?
Well, we had
a sore subject.
We had a pre-construction meeting on it. Buddy and Scott could probably speak on it better than myself. I was there at the meeting, but it sounded like there was going to be a few weeks before all the permit. Here comes Scott. Great.
Madam Chair, while he's coming up, anything in these two items, it'll be a motion. I'll have to recuse.
Okay, thank you.
And I have filed the proper paperwork.
Okay.
Good afternoon again. Yeah, we had a pre-construction conference. There is some materials it's going to take some lead time to get. So we're working with a contractor to do a limited notice to proceed. Once we have a better idea of when he thinks he can procure those materials, then we'll be able to move forward and have a better timeline. Right now, he's just looking at procurement.
All right. Well, you know I'm not going to let this lay, so be prepared every time. All right, and while you're still up here, Shane, we can move on to the next one, since I didn't need no motion on that one.
Well, I have a quick question.
Sorry?
Do we have some staff that can't take tips? They're going to be...
Not anymore.
Okay.
We were told at one time previously that if you made over a certain dollar amount, you couldn't take tips. So it kind of limited on us on who could run the beverage cart, but we've since had some clarity on that that's not the case.
Okay, good. I want to make sure they can pull as many $100 bills as they can.
The next item, I got with Shane and a few other folks, and I think Brian was in there too. I kind of wanted to start doing an annual type, maybe golf tournament to benefit some nonprofits. And I asked Shane, how about we do a commissioners classic where I would invite or try and get other commissioners from other counties to come over and play in this tournament to benefit a nonprofit. This particular one I have gotten with Mr. Profit with the FFA, and I would like to, I don't need a motion for them to run their tournament, but the motion that I would like to ask for is to waive the operation type fees from the golf side, not the food and beverage, because they should make some money if you're bringing this tournament there. I would like to waive those fees on this particular nonprofit tournament. If anybody has any questions on the tournament, I mean, I would also like to, we're going to add a food drive, a canned food drive out there. There will be different sponsors, so I just want to make this maybe an annual event that could benefit, food pantries or nonprofits. So that's what, and I'd like to let those nonprofits gain as much funding as they can for that tournament. And the stipulation is their people will be working it, not the golf course folks. So.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, Mr. Supple, when we waive the fee, and I'm not against it, okay? And I'm not voting on it, but I can talk on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going where I was going.
Yeah. One thing I asked, Mr. Supple, how much would it cost us to waive the fee? Not that I'm against it, I want you to know that.
So per board policy, the board, it's $50 a player what we charge for a tournament. So, if you had 80 players, it'd be 80 times 50.
I want you to remember that when we're talking about their budget next year, okay?
Yeah, because what I was going to say, if I don't get, the support from the board on this, then I will be glad to take it out of my office discretionary funds.
And I'm not opposed to it. I just want you
I gotcha.
to know that if we're short, this may be one of the reasons. And I'm glad you're having the tournament, by the way.
Should we get a motion and a second first before we continue on? Okay,
Nice
go ahead.
ask.
Go ahead.
How many of these tournaments do we do a year?
So we try to limit it to one a month, sometimes one every 2 months. And the reason why is we have 505 members now. So we try, especially on Saturdays, to keep the course free. But we do 8 to 10 a year of these tournaments. So
How many of those do we waive the fees on?
up to date, we have not.
So once we start, I just want everybody to understand, once you start this precedent,
Well, we had talked about.
every single one of them's going to want the fees waived.
Well, this is a county sponsored, so that would be the difference. I mean, you'd have to have a county sponsored one to justify
A
it.
distinction, a difference without a distinction.
I don't believe it's a distinction without a difference when it comes to setting precedent. No, everybody else is hosting their own tournament. This is a county hosted tournament if this is approved.
You tell those football teams that, I mean.
Well, I think we're at the point.
Raising Cain.
Well, I think we're at the point now that maybe part of these 8 or 10 tournaments that we're not losing $1 million a year at the golf course, that maybe we can start doing more of these. It's almost like the pilot tournament. I would not be at all in denial if the next tournament, I mean, we can't have 50 tournaments out there, but if we set a limit of 8 to 10 like we always had for the last 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't have a problem with, doing the same motion on those 8 to 10 every year.
I see that it would increase every year, just like our.
Well, that's why we got to set.
funds.
We got to set.
Well, we tried to set the funds at the previously, and we didn't get anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had my first town hall nonprofit. You know how many nonprofits showed up to talk and express their concern with the nonprofit process? Zero. I had 0 nonprofits come to the South Walton Town Hall to discuss nonprofit stuff. So if we want to set something, let's set something. I got 2 more opportunities. If everybody's listening, I'll have 2 more town halls on the nonprofit, one in Freeport and one at the North End. But please come in and speak.
They're not going to come this time of the year.
I know they're going to.
Those are busy people and I'm not against this tournament. I'm just, as I believe Commissioner Anderson was referring to, I don't want to hear it, the budget process about losing money because now you're giving away money.
Well,
and you're, with all due respect to Mr. Adkisson, if you let one of them do it, you're going to have to do it for all of them. So
Would have to be board.
I don't.
Would they have to come before the board and get permission before the board if they wanted it way? Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
but once you set a precedence, you've set a precedence.
And
well, how about I do this?
I'm fine with it. I'm just telling you, I don't want to hear at budget time that Shane's got $1 million shortfall and we got to cut the budget.
Come on now, we already worked that out. Come on. All right, I'll ex-nay that, and I'll just pay for it out of my office discretionary funds.
What discretionary funds?
I have office discretionary funds. You have office
Do you have
discretionary
enough to
funds.
cover?
So that has to come back to the board. You can't just spend money.
Melissa, is that correct?
Now, anytime we get regular office expenses that would come out of the discretionary account, we do let the smaller things that are county-related and related to their office, like if a commissioner was going to have a town hall and ordered some supplies for that, we do let those come through without going before the board. So if the board would like to change that.
That's interesting because I've always paid for my town halls out of my pocket. But I didn't think you could just spend money without coming back to the board.
There's 25,000 that we each have. You can do it without coming back to the board.
Well, that's never, did you ever understand it that way?
I've never spent any, so I don't.
Well, I've never spent any either, except on parks.
And yours are the capital that would be a difference with yours, they're on capital projects. So if it is a capital project, it would need to come back to the board.
Not because it's your discretionary funds, because of what it's being.
Because it's capital.
Listen, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think what you're doing is fine, and what you're asking is fine. I mean, this is money, a county tournament, that we're using the money for a nonprofit that the county is trying to get an agricultural center for that nonprofit. And so I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
I do worry about other people coming. What I'd like to do before we set, if it's not a precedent or whatever, say we have 10 tournaments a year. I'd like to see, what that would cost in his budget to, so we'll know exactly what we're giving up money-wise that's going to affect the golf.
You could probably say 10 tournaments at $4,000 a pop, it's $40,000 a year, but then you got to factor in the bar and grill because those tournaments are going to come in and we're going to make money off the bar and grill. So you could probably be conservative and say somewhere around 25,000 maybe?
Something like that.
We would be.
Typically in the spring and summer when we have a tournament, like I said, it's one a month at maximum, one every 2 months, and we leave it open for regular play.
Well, I'm getting at, and what I would prefer.
Down here.
I tried to get you a minute ago.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would like for it to be made clear that this is a county tournament. And that this is not, we might designate the money to some not-for-profit, but this is a county tournament with a county purpose, And as Commissioner Anderson pointed out, this is to help assist with a county agriculture center that the county is building.
Right.
So under those terms, then it's okay. But if you're just saying we're going to start doing not-for-profits and not charge them fees, that's not okay.
Definitively not what is the discussion. That's why I say it's not precedential.
Correct.
That's why, so I want to make it clear, this is a county tournament sponsored by the Board of County Commissioners for our purposes. And if that purpose is to give that money to a not-for-profit, that's okay. But it's our deal, not anybody. That's not something that we're going to let everybody just come in and do.
Commissioner Drake, it's your turn. You want to speak?
Yeah, I wasn't so concerned about the precedent will set, and thank you, Commissioner Gladwell, for clarifying that this is a in-house tournament. So it's just like if you owned your own restaurant and you decided one day you wanted to host somebody and you didn't charge them a dime, you can do that because you're the owner of that restaurant. We're the owner of that facility, so we can do that. I don't see a scenario where in the future we're going to tell people you can't, or we're going to waive your fees for this tournament. It would be really unusual because we're going to lose money. So what I want to understand is I get the goal. The goal is to create a benefit so that we can make a donation to the Tractor Museum. So that's why you see a lot of times when the cheerleaders come around, the Girl Scouts come around, you'll notice that one word, proceeds. So that's after all the expenditures have been paid, then whatever's left over is the proceed, and then that's what's donated to the not-for-profit. So you were on the right track there, Commissioner Anderson, when you're talking about what is the opportunity cost going to be if we forego a Saturday afternoon of not collecting the daily rate fees and then allowing what is it going to cost? So we have to factor that in. Does that cost, if we forego fees on a Saturday, what's that number?
That's where we came up with the $50 per player range. So what we did, we sat down and we figured when we run a tournament, what are we not getting?
Well, what's that number once you multiply it out?
It's going to be $3,500 to $4,000.
All right, so let's say it's $4,000. So we gotta get that back, and then at least, because if we capture on this tournament, if we capture $2,000 and then we donate the $2,000 to the charity, then we're out $4,000.
That $4,000 would be what we'd collect from the players. $50 a head, 80 players, something like that. That's what we would collect. So the way I look at it is, if we didn't have the tournament, we would just have regular play, and that's the money we would take in. So we're having a tournament in exchange for regular play, so it's $50 a player, which is probably a little bit more on average than what we would make for regular play, because a lot of regular play, probably half of regular play will be a member paying a cart fee, which is $16 for 18 holes. So a lot of times on tournament days, we do tournaments from 8 to 12, and then from 12 to dark, the course is open for regular play.
What I'm getting at is that, okay, let's say once you run all the figures, if our net loss is $4,000, and then we are managed to collect $4,000 to pay that off, and then additional supplement, we're better off if we just vote to cut a check for $2,500, and then we haven't lost but $2,500. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why you have to get over that proceed hurdle before you can start donating. We got to figure out. So I'm going to get in the same canoe with the others in that I like your idea and I'm supportive. I just we got to get the math right.
But the difference in just cutting them a check and having a tournament is the public awareness that the tournament raises and the free publicity that it gets to the benefactor or the beneficiary, which is the Tractor Museum. And that you can't get with a check. You got to get that with the event. So, like I said, as long as this is spelled out that this is a county tournament, I mean, it's sort of like schools have basketball tournaments. And the school board doesn't charge the school a fee, although if you have that tournament, they're going to charge you a fee. And the reason that they don't is because it's them. So if we're clearly saying this is us doing it, then it's certainly appropriate. And it will generate the benefit, which is raising public awareness, getting Facebook stuff and getting newspaper stuff and all that good stuff. That's why you do a tournament instead of cutting them a check.
Okay.
So I agree that this is, and you said, let me clarify, that we're just, the golfing itself, we're not charging for, it'll be free. But they still pay for their food and drink.
Right, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is going to be, to your point, Commissioner Gladwell, county-specific, so it's not something that we're opening up to everyone else to come in and have this benefit.
That's my understanding.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And
that $50 fee.
Is waived.
No, the $50 fee is not waived. The $50 fee is going to him that will then go to what you're talking about, Mr. Kirk. Because you're charging the players to play. And the $50, what goes out of us normally, they make up, they have money left over. But we have to charge players to play in it to make any money. You're not going to make enough on food and beverage by just not charging the players. The players have to pay in every golf tournament. And so you don't waive that. You waive the fee, the money he makes. You turn that money back into the charity.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
The players are going to pay either way.
Right.
It's you're giving the charity or you're giving the people, the beneficiary, you're giving them the money that would normally go into the county's coffers. You're giving them.
The way it normally works is they have the tournament, because they'll have 25 teams signed up, and then typically the day of, especially if it's a winter tournament, somebody drops out, they add a couple more. Anyway, when everybody's teed off, whoever's doing the tournament, Freeport football, the Kiwanis, I sit down with them and go, all right, you had this many players times, and then they pay us with a card or a check. Sometimes it's a check a couple of days later after the checks have cleared from the players in the tournament. That's typically how it goes.
Well, you guys changed my mind, so, I mean.
No, I'm not trying to
I'm just saying.
I mean, if that's the best scenario, I agree with it.
They just wouldn't pay that, right?
I just want to get us on a proceeds model. That way, there's no skin off our back. We don't lose a thing in the world, and then we create the awareness, we do all the other things, but then we're not foregoing, money that would be budgeted at the end. Question, so when we had the last time we had a county-sponsored tournament, it was weekend before the election.
100-year tournament?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
That's the only one we've ever had.
Okay, so at the end of the day, when everything was tabulated, what was our net benefit?
Oh, boy. We made a little bit of money because we had so many sponsors. I just don't recall.
That's what I'm saying. Did we make $5,000 off the tournament?
Oh, I don't.
Make $3,000?
Did we make
$1,000?
much.
I don't know that we made.
I think it was about $2,500, something like that.
So we're putting together a tournament that's going to benefit. We're going to lose $4,000. It's back to my check scenario. We're better off if we just made that decision to write a check than to lose the $4,000 and then pick up $2,000 like we did. In that tournament, you hustled and raised a lot of money, and it was during an election year. So if you did all of that, and I remember, it was a big production. So if you did all of that and we raised about $2,500, if we put this thing together, are we going to get close to that same range?
But you don't have food and beverage in there either, that you said you made $2,500, or does that include food and beverage?
Oh, gosh, I have to go back and look at the numbers.
Oh, let's see, they had free food, so that was even worse.
What's going on during that time? Whew.
Shane, how about this? Why couldn't we just say first weekend in January, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that all the proceeds or all the golf trips, rounds that we do on those 3 days, we're going to put in the Tractor Museum account. In other words, all the money that we make on the weekend goes to them without the tournament expenses.
I'd rather do the tournament. That's going to be about 20 grand, 25 grand. Those 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first 2 weekends in January. I mean,
Oh, the first weekend.
first weekend, that'll be 12. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we normally do about 4 grand a day, something like that in sales.
So we give them $12,000.
I mean, it's up to y'all. I execute. Y'all tell me what to do, and I do it.
I mean, I really don't have a problem with that because we're coming up to that sustainability mark that we can maybe start doing something like this. But I'd still like to do that tournament just to get.
Oh yeah, we already have
The
people out
notoriety,
here wanting to
yeah,
play in the
for
tournament. So.
recognition.
Yeah, I want the tournament too. I can't vote on it, but I agree it's a good idea. And I think that we still got a little work to do on the money.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea.
I'll make a motion, we have the tournament.
Second.
With
No details?
proceeds,
Well, and let Shane.
with proceeds to benefit the FFA,
Right.
whatever.
Okay, okay,
And let Shane work the details out.
We have a
Shane's
motion
the
and-
subject matter expert, not me.
okay. We have a motion and a second. Yes, Barbara?
While Barbara's coming up here, I do want to challenge the folks up here to sit in the golf cart and let folks take shots at us at
No way.
a certain amount. You're in a caged golf cart. I'm in.
It still doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to have a smile on my face. I'm going to try to channel Suzanne Harris. But in a good way, I think we need to make more money. And I'm not talking on the weekend. The Chamber just had a tournament at Camp Creek. Why don't we, do a phone call Megan Harris. We've already given them $10,000, so they should be very gracious to pick up and help us. What did they do? How much did they make? I guarantee you they didn't make $4,000.
Well, I know we've talked about it plenty of times that we're going to have I don't care. I'll go door to door, not for sponsors, but we're going to have multiple sponsors out there, which adds to the money and everything else. It's just not the golf side. I mean, there's other faucets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to fund what you want to fund, but I would suggest you reach out locally to see what Megan Harris has done. I mean, it was a big production. And, if we can get more money and do it, whatever, with some suggestions.
They've had chamber tournaments. That's why we
Marano.
The DBPA has a tournament every year to raise money for the fireworks. And everything out there is sponsored. Every hole's got a sponsor. I mean.
I'm sorry, what group did that?
DBPA.
But the fees aren't waived.
Okay.
Well, because that's at a
Right.
private golf course.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's still real money.
They raise probably, how much she raised, about 10 or 12, about 10 grand?
And I'm sure the Chamber has the proceeds and they take what Camp Creek did not do it for free.
It depends on how much work you want to put into it. You're going to get what you give. If we're just going to have a tournament and nobody put any forth effort, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just my suggestion.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Appreciate it. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm not comfortable with waiving the fees because we're back to foregoing four grand. We've got to figure if we offer the facility and they do it just like any not-for-profit would do it, where they're picking up the tab. Once you reach that mark where you've paid your tab, they keep everything after that. So then you've got opportunities. I mean, where you make your money on the golf tournament is in the sponsorships. You got the holes, you got to have silent auctions, you got to have celebrities, you got to have all these other places where you can collect. And once you do that, you'll pay off, the benefit, the cost and then everything above that is gravy. And that's what we're trying to give them some gravy.
Right.
And I'm just trying to put us in a posture to where we're consistent.
Well, I would like to challenge each commissioner to bring in a bunch of sponsors.
Hey, I was trying to just give them $12,000.
That's another thing too, from a big tournament like the 100-year tournament we had. Hopefully this tournament will be big. I don't know about that big. That was monstrous.
I'm going to go visit the counties personally.
You get people playing that don't normally play, and before you know it, they play some more, and then they come back, and then you get a member from it or something like that too. So you get good publicity.
But we don't know the accurate cost, though. You're saying a per player cost.
So
I'd
you're
like to
talking
know
about
the actual cost.
You're talking about our daily operational
Hourly?
costs?
How much? You got 4 employees at X amount of dollars an hour.
It's about $3,900 a day is what we
pay for your employees,
to run
the
the golf
lights,
course.
whatever.
We're right at that.
But you kept saying, "Oh, well, it's $50," and that's what I'm.
Well, no, that's what we charge the players. So
Yeah, but I'm looking at it from a business standpoint.
I mean, we're still going to get paid.
Wait a
just
minute.
thinking from a business standpoint.
From a business standpoint, now we're at $3,900 on what we're paying the employees, plus the forfeiture of the $4,000. We're at $8,000. I mean,
We're getting paid that $3,900 regardless. I mean, we have to open the course, we have to mow the greens, whoever's out there playing, right?
But that at the end of the day, we're better off cutting the check.
That's up to y'all.
Our funds that we have, our contingency funds, can any of us pay anything towards that, with that money?
That would be up to the board. That's not something that we've done before, but that would be up to the board. It is general revenues.
So we all have $25,000, and most of us probably haven't spent, you haven't spent any of it. Well, you've spent it, but you just didn't know. You spent yours twice.
So here's,
but if we each threw in 1,000 from that money, that would take care of that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I would donate 1,000 out of my contingency funds.
May I say something?
Wait a minute, we have a motion on the floor. So
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me say, $50 is the cost that that's not what they're paying to be in the tournament. Most tournaments run from anywhere from $75 to $125. So all that money, if we charge players $75 to be in this tournament, that covers our cost, and all that extra $25 or $50 or $75 extra.
That's how you cover it.
That goes to the charity. And then
We need to figure out what that cost is going to be per player.
Yeah.
talk to him. He's the guy that knows more.
There you go,
than-
Mayor.
so when the tournament's over, and who do I tell? We had 80 players at $50. Who pays the
If it's a county tournament, you tell yourself.
That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting to.
You gotta
Who's gonna
guarantee the
pay
80
that?
players.
That's what I'm getting to. So who's?
Well, the whole thing is every tournament is run this way. We're talking about the expense of having the tournament with the $50.
So
You can find a golf tournament where you pay $50 to get in it. Even if you're not a golfer, you better sign up to play in it.
Right, right.
So we are going to make more money on the $25 or $50 or $75 extra.
from an operational standpoint, you can't tell whether the tournament's going on or not. It's just people playing golf. It's just
Right.
all it's.
And it's only half the day, too.
Right, that's right.
Because at 1 o'clock, it's open to the public, so we're only using it from whatever time to 1 o'clock.
Sponsors.
I like to, can we call the vote? I think we're good.
We have a motion and a second on the floor.
What is the?
Commissioner,
Just
you want to repeat your motion?
to, it was my motion.
It was his motion.
Okay.
Hold the tournament and let Shane sort out the details.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. But- and
Hold
you
on.
seconded that, right? Commissioner Curry? Okay. And you cannot vote, correct? Okay, so there's four of us.
We want to get this right, don't we?
That's why he's going to come back with some numbers, correct? Or you're going to
The
put it,
motion
you're gonna put
is
it all
to
in?
hold the tournament and let him figure it out.
We're giving him the authority to figure it out.
Are you sure you want to do that? I mean, I'm not distrusting him, but that's not really putting any, that's
You ever
not,
played golf before, Shane?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I've never run a tournament. So.
You've had a lot of tournaments.
Oh, gosh,
Been down this road a million times. You know how it works better than we do.
No, I get that. We're investing in his, what he has up here, but to say, just let him figure out the details, then he can decide, we're going to charge them or we're not going to charge them.
If he says we're not going to charge them, I think Joe Profit and them will kill him.
Well, then does
not
that
gonna
need to be
charge.
included in your
He
motion?
doesn't charge them money, I think.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
I've run tournaments, I've played in tournaments. I would like the board to appoint me to work with Shane, and at the next meeting, we'll come back with a plan. Is that good enough?
Sounds good to me.
I think.
You good with it? I'm fine, whatever y'all say.
So is that just direction then?
Yeah.
We don't really even need a motion.
I'll withdraw the motion.
We'll make money.
Okay. All right, no motion, and you and Commissioner Anderson get together and come up with a great plan and come back to us.
Sounds good.
Sound good? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great plan, Owen.
I just wanted to add that Commissioner Anderson, the original plan was I was going to go visit other counties during their board meetings and basically challenge them to come over here and play. So I just wanted to make sure, because I know me and you can't talk.
But I will say, Commissioner Drake's right. The more sponsors you get, the more money you get to the charity, and the more less. Well, Caleb knows he's run golf tournaments before for Cancer Free, so yeah, you get
Just
sponsors.
volunteer him to help?
That's what I heard.
I think that was a no.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, you've got
That's
one
all.
more.
Is that? Oh,
I think you have one
Lord.
more.
Okay. Is Melinda here still? Like I said before on the previous meeting and to the delegation about the water quality at Alaqua and Crawford Creek, I also heard it was called Goodwin Creek.
Good one.
The sign says Crawford, but that's the creek that's closest that runs by the old landfill, Coyote landfill. So if Melinda would come up here, she gave me some pretty good news. I'd rather her explain it.
Yes, sir. Melinda Gates, Walton County Environmental. So we've actually had quite a few staff on this mission to find data in this general area. We do understand the concern that there may be some issues with metals and other things in the region. So we wanted to do as much investigation as we could. So we haven't received all the data back from the agencies, but they're working on it. So our state agencies who have been contacted, they are working, they're doing a great job, they're getting us the information as quickly as possible, but some of the information's, there's a lot of it. In the meantime, though, if it is the prerogative of the board, it might be a good idea for us to go ahead and do some sampling. When I say sampling, we can hire a third party. We have a contractor, Jones Edmond, who works for our solid waste division. They do sampling already for our solid waste department. They can go out and do a similar spectrum of water quality assessments for metals. There's EPA has an appendix, it's called Appendix 1. It just lists all the metals that are involved with landfills, and we can do a surface water testing. We have areas that we have identified that we think would be good test sites, some that are around the general area of the landfills in Freeport, but then some that are outside, so we have some control mechanisms as well. The good thing about going back to some of the data that we have received from our agencies, state agencies, is that what I'm finding is actually City of Freeport has done a very good job at getting water supply to their citizens. So all throughout that area, they either have access to it or on public water supply. So that's a good thing for the area. But I would recommend we can do the series of testing for under $10,000, we think, at this point. So if it's the prerogative of the board, we can move forward with that.
And where would that money come from?
So we could pull it out of our solid waste funds. It's part of a budget area that Billy McKee can authorize.
Now, would there be any test? I don't know how many people have wells around that area, but would that include maybe knocking on a door and saying, "Hey, you mind if we test your well water?" Or would we be getting in a mess with that?
Yeah, going into the private wells might be a little bit more tricky. However, with that being said, Water Management District has done some sampling, and I'm just waiting on all that information. DEP has sent me back some information, and some of their wells have come back. They tested for some metals, not the full spectrum, and at this point, they didn't see any issues, but that wasn't the full spectrum either.
I would recommend starting on public wells or public test sites that we can use. And then if we think there's an issue, then we can look at a private program where people could volunteer or sign up for it. Then we could gauge the desire for that, the number and the amount versus it's not as easy, unfortunately, just going and knocking on someone's door and asking them to test. The amount of paperwork you'd have to go test someone's well could be an issue.
Well, just my concern with this was, and I'm sure Commissioner Gladwell has something to add to this about something that he was working on. I know you're over there waiting. But, like we found out about it at the Estuary Committee meeting, that, this is something 10 years ago. And then I do more reading on it, and the wells, the monitoring wells, were only supposed to be looked at for 5 years afterwards. And I still don't know what those wells produced in those 5 years, and now it's 10, 20 years later, and nobody's tested to see if those levels have increased or decreased. And that's a concern. We just got done speaking about the CO2 and the aquaflow and everything with all that coming through here. There's a war on water, it looks like here. We need to start getting in this battle and start testing some of this stuff.
Yes. I just want to ask, didn't you say that Water Management's bringing you something back?
So Water Management District has supplied some data. They're working on some additional data out there that they've collected from private wells. They have a program that does that for selected areas. And some of that data goes to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Some of it stays in the Water Management District. The stuff that went to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the few metals that they did test for came back fine.
Came back what?
They came back fine.
Oh, well,
they're not elevated.
That's good news.
Private wells?
Those were private wells, yes.
I would just like anything that is included in this program would also include the Rock Hill area, and that those wells be tested as much as possible as well. Because we've been the citizens out there have been asking since last August for results, and we still can't get them, or they can't get them. And the people who have had their private wells tested privately have seen some pretty high levels of certain metals and carcinogens. So anything you do for Aliquot Creek, I'd appreciate you do for Rock Hill.
Can you give us a price to do some testing on that as well, and I'll include that in this motion?
Yeah, we'll have to actually look into what it would cost over in the Red Bay area. I know for the Aliquot, because we have priced it out, it'll be under $10,000.
And that includes Crawford Creek too, though?
Correct. So what it would include is 5 surface water sampling sites that would be sampled for a series of metals. That series of metals, again, we're using a third party. The third party would send it off for analysis, and then we would get a report associated with it. So that's what you're going to be getting as a product associated with the $10,000 or less. But for Red Bay, I just want to look at the surface waters around there and see what would be some good points.
Seven Runs Creek and Bruce Creek. Seven Runs Creek and Bruce Creek.
Yes, sir.
Now, any of these tests do sediment, or is it just water?
We were not going to look at sediment at this time, but we can get the YSIs from some counterparts and get that do that analysis.
If we're going to check it, we might as well check it.
Yeah, sediment's an easy one for us to look into. That's just looking at the.
I think peace of mind is what I'm looking for, and I think that's what Commissioner Gladwell is looking for too. So
the community is looking for.
So do I need a motion for this?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion for the $10,000 for Aliquot and Crawford. I don't know how to add. Are you just direction with Commissioner Gladwell's, or add it to mine?
Let's ask them to provide us, to come back with some numbers of what it's going to cost there.
We can do that.
For Bruce and Seven Runs. I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good luck.
My last one is going to be easy. I'm going to skip it because I have not gotten a hold. FDOT has reached out to me, but I have not returned a call. So he reached out to me yesterday, and I got back too late. So I'll just put that on for a different. This is the 4-lane and some issues I see and concerns on 20 out basically in the same area and basically all the way through Freeport. I got on the FDOT Zoom meeting, and myself and a citizen pretty much asked the same question, and we got the circle back answer. So I'm waiting for the circle back answer, and it's on me now because I have not returned the call. So I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Glidewell.
My first one, Sarah, we had the joint TDC BCC meeting a couple months ago, and we were asked to schedule joint meetings at least once a quarter. So I think we can do this with direction, but I would like to direct staff to go ahead and schedule that meeting in December and to schedule those once a quarter until further notice. Is that good with everybody?
Yep.
Will December 9th work? We can do a joint meeting in the morning and follow it up with a BCC meeting in the afternoon.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, 9 a.m. December 9th.
December 9th, the TDC portion on the south end. And then the BCC meeting, I think, is that on the north end? It is on the north end, right? The 9th?
Yep.
So we could do the TDC portion down on the south end where all the TDC people are, and then come up here.
Why couldn't we just, I mean, it's county-wide. We could do a meeting in the north end.
Why don't we leave it up? You want to leave it up to you?
Well, I mean,
Rather than us driving all over God's green earth.
Can I ask? In all sincerity, what's the objective?
I think we do have the strategic plan.
what we could do, the reason I suggested December 9th is we have plans to share the draft copy of the TDC strategic plan. That'd be a good thing to do at a joint meeting.
You want to have it in the south end, I don't care. I'll drive.
At 9:30.
Okay? 9:30.
Okay.
9:45.
Okay.
We got to be back
Have you
here
got
by
it?
1.
9:30 at the south
All right.
end, the TDC portion at the south annex, and then we'll have our regular BCC meeting here at 1 p.m.
Okay.
That's all I had on that one. Next one, we also, we got approval at the same time for the District 4 new office to do District 2, and I was given permission to find a place, and I have found that place. It's the rear section of the Glendale School. It's a county-owned building. Mr. Alford and his staff have got the prices worked up and are ready to go. I just need permission to move or to start the process, and I'd make that a motion.
I'll second it. Do we have any kind of ballpark figure?
Not yet?
Not yet.
Oh, yes, we do.
Do we? Okay, okay. You're ahead of the game.
You're not walking up here too fast, Mr. Alford.
Yeah, he is. He's just getting old.
We don't really have any hard numbers right yet. We're still kind of working on that.
Okay.
But
I mean, you need it, but
somewhere around 50.
Yes, that would be a safe bet.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it. So we have a motion and a second. Any comments? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I appreciate all your assistance on the CO2 thing from Covington County, and I appreciate I appreciate the new office, and thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Drake, did you want anything? No? Commissioner Anderson?
Oh, I don't have any.
No? Okay. Would you pass that down? I don't have this on the agenda, but I had sent it to legal for review. This is from the Defense Support Initiative, and it's regarding the drilling out in the Gulf of America. And they're asking that we also send in a letter in opposition to that drilling. I'm not going to read the whole letter. I'll give you a copy, but basically it's the last paragraph is oil drilling and associated exploratory activities are incompatible with the complex and sensitive nature of military training and testing. They would harm military readiness, reduce our ability to maintain military superiority, and risk national security. We respectfully request your unwavering support in securing permanent protections for the Eastern Gulf Test and Training Range, ensuring it remains a safe and viable training and testing area for our military. So they have asked that we also sign a letter.
I make a motion.
Well, hold on. We can't make a motion because it's not on the agenda. What I would ask we do is the following.
Take all the fun out of this.
I know. What I would ask that Commissioner Johns is going to provide that letter to Mr. Kellenberger, who's going to circulate it to each of you. When this came up before, the request previously that I believe Senator Scott is the one who initially asked for some help on this, was that each of the commissioners on their own office letterhead and in their individual capacity as a commissioner sign a letter of support to increase the total numbers of support, and the board then do a resolution in support. If the board is comfortable, we'll circulate that to each of you. You can each send one letter out. That'd be 5 if that's what you want to do. If you don't have to. And then we'll have a resolution on next consent agenda, because we've talked about it today. In fact, this board's talked about it many times, that signifies our opposition to oil drilling within the Gulf, and specifically within the Gulf Test Range.
You or Mr. Kellenberger, one of the two, are going to send us a draft generic letter.
Yes.
And we put it on our individual letterhead and individually sign it as an individual commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner District blank.
District. And then, you would come back with a resolution.
At the next meeting.
And do you need that in a motion?
I can take that as direction. We just want to let you know that's what's happening.
And I have a meeting with DSI on Friday morning, and if it's okay with you all, I'll go ahead and let them know that that's what our intentions are.
And you can go ahead and deliver your letter that day.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, my item is, the first one is considering raising the bailiff pay to $50 an hour with a 3-hour minimum. And the reason I say that is because every other entity, with the exception of maybe one, pays them $50 an hour. And I believe right now they're getting $40 an hour, and there's no minimum, I believe. But they take their entire day, and they don't know how long they're going to be here, just like the rest of us don't know how long they're going to be here. It could be a couple hours, or it could be several. But anyway, I feel that based on everything that they do for us and the fact that it's really not that much money in a total year as far as paying this difference, that I would like to be able to offer that.
Motion to approve the bailiffs increasing to 50 with a 3-hour minimum.
He said he didn't want it.
I asked him why wasn't he leaving, because at church, we make them leave before we give them any more
For
money.
the record, the finance director indicated that Buddy is sufficiently in the budget, so no budget amendment.
So we've got a motion and a second?
A second.
And a second.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with it. This is separate from his
Yes.
county time
Yes,
after 4:30? Okay.
yes.
All right, just want to make
Any
sure.
comments from the audience?
Specialty.
Seeing none?
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner Drake, did you?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The other thing I wanted to do is just ask if there's any update on the rideshare program. Have you got anything on that?
Yes, ma'am. The Purchasing Department has completed the draft RFP. We're ready to put it out. We just need direction from the board to put it out.
Okay, well,
Consent agenda. We can't approve it
Okay,
today, but we can
okay.
put it on next consent agenda if you want.
can we, is that just direction? Or do we need a motion
Well,
to do
no,
that?
No, I'll just put it on the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
Unless the board wants to talk about it anymore today, but we can
Nope.
go ahead and talk about it today and stick it on the consent agenda.
that'd be great.
And it's just to issue the RFP.
Okay. Okay, now, any public comments? Anyone want to speak on anything? Brenda?
Oh.
Chairman, Commissioners, Brenda Reese. I live on Eastern Lake, but I was born in Defuniak. And something light first. December 9th, y'all realize that is the 200th anniversary of South Walton leaving Walton County. South Walton left to be part of Washington County. So y'all might want to be sure that day on December 9th to congratulate your Washington County commissioners on celebrating their 200th year.
They regret it every day.
South Walton came back in 1913. Washington County and even Walton County gave away that worthless beach property. So anyway, I am livid, I'm shocked, I'm mortified that our national lobbyist has not hardly been in touch with you, and yet they are pushing renourishment, which I'm sure they don't know anything about SiO2, silicastic quartz sand, which came down from the Appalachian Mountains during the last Oligocene. I know they don't know that. 20 years ago, I spoke to every junior high science class at Freeport, and I talked about the coastal dune lakes. Not one child had ever heard of the coastal dune lakes. We've made great progress. There's some wonderful books that I have a couple. Y'all need to give it to whoever is the new lobbyist. They need to know about our SiO2 sand. They need to know about our coastal dune lakes. And we citizens need to be involved that have lived here for 100 years in helping protect our assets around our home, and not some national lobbyist that also works for other counties. Our beaches are so much better than theirs. They probably have no idea. And so we need to fix that. So anyway, we need to get this back under the control of the citizens and meet with us first in detail before some national lobbyist that knows nothing about us comes in and dictates millions and millions of our dollars. Back in 2020, we were making like $30 million. Then in 24, 25, we got up to $60 million. Well, it's dropped, but I think it's only $59 million. So I think we'll do okay. And yes, it's tourism is down, but it's better, it's safer. Walton County had the 10th most dangerous roads in the country. And it was on the front page of the Northwest Florida Daily News. So things have got to change. Less is better. And strategic retreat might be the new word we need to learn instead of the renourishment. That's a new thing. People are getting rid of that renourishment because it's a billion-dollar boondoggle, repetitive, and a waste of money and environment. Walton County has the best beaches in the area, and we need to keep it that way, and we need to let people re-educate them about our coastal dune lakes. Thank you.
Wait a minute, I have a question. Would you tell them exactly what you're talking about when you were telling me earlier about
the strategic retreat? Again, that's, the renourishment, you have to just do it repetitively every couple of years, because guess what? There's storms and it washes out. The shoreline was 100 miles out. 100 years ago, 100 miles out, 10,000 years ago, it was receding 24 centimeters. Then it slowed down to 2 to 3 centimeters every 100 years, but it's reaccelerated. So the Gulf is coming up. So renourishment is a waste of money. So what they've said is, when you've got a house and it falls into the Gulf or the ocean, then that house can't be built back right there on the ocean. If they have room in their lot, they can build it back. Otherwise, strategic retreat, it's gone. It's very well known, and you can people can look into it.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome. And I should have showed it. Anyway, Coastal Dune Lake books, send them at least a copy of the Coastal Dune Lake requirements.
Ms. Reese?
Yes, sir.
When and if this company comes to my office, I will invite you to that meeting.
I would be glad to come and give them a Cliff Notes of the environment and history of Walton County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda is the historian. She knows history about this county more than anybody else. Yes, Barbara.
I'll be quick, and thank you for your patience. I really expected that there would be a contract at this meeting for the consultant that you talked about to bring to planning. It didn't happen, and it may happen at the next meeting. Most likely. And luckily for you, I won't be there. But that's why I want to say what I want to say today. We have, and you have spent over $1 million for DPZ to come in for the evaluation and assessment report. Freeport was not part of that. Paxton was not part of that. Defuniak was not part of that. They were not part of any of the agreements. They didn't hear anything DPZ said. This is a huge component to our Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. We need Stephen Schoen and his team to work on the EAR, which they will, without any interference from a person who has not been there. I'm assuming Freeport is very busy because they have a $2 million, according to the Defuniak Herald, a $2 million lawsuit. Hopefully that will be dismissed about their fees, whatever, but there's something going on right now in Freeport. I also want to say that MGT was hired, and we're waiting for that report. We have positions that need to be filled. Kristen Schell worked on code, and that position is open, so let's wait and see how that gets filled. We also have a magistrate now, which Freeport does not have, and that's also takes a lot of time and knowledge and a knowledge about code. But more importantly, I don't know if you realize, I did send you something. We have a full-time attorney in the planning department who is very well qualified to work with the planners in that department. There are a lot of things that were let go or ignored, but that director is no longer with us. We bring a lot of examples here, and my background is in education. Most assistant principals move up to principalship, and they do it with confidence, and they usually do it with the morale, a good morale of their staff. A consultant doesn't come in and help that principal run for that year. That principal has enough experience because of what they've done before. I take that analogy to what we're going to do, or if you agree on a contract for a consultant at this time. It's just not applicable. I don't think it's wise. I think it's money not well spent. And I think we need to give our planning department and our new administrator the control that they need to move forward. We have not had a good administrator for years, going back to the time that Larry Jones was sick and then retired, and we've had breaks in that. Now we have somebody that's sitting there solid. So let's give both of them the confidence that they need to go forward. I hope you do not accept this contract that you probably will get next 2 weeks. So thank you.
Barbara. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.